coming hours, as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong, damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday, lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
All the cool people are listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. So, congratulations.
Okay, not only is it Flashback Friday, but it's also party time. Well, later on tonight. I hope you can make it out to Cottleville to Frankie Martin's garden. Yeah, I know there might be some rain. We're going to do the party, rain or shine, people. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hey, good morning. Happy Flashback Friday to you. Mike Ferguson here. So excited for this weekend. We followed up on one of those big news stories from the week. Obviously, data centers everywhere in the headlines. Real emotional response from a lot of people. And there's a lot of people just really haven't quite figured out what these things are and what they're not. So there's a lot of information we still need to digest. State Representative Tricia Burns was on the program with us on Thursday because she wants to see the state government take that proper role in regulating and consumer protection and the planning and everything else. But the thing is, we're not quite sure what that role is. So when do we start those formal conversations? Well, here's what she had to say. Some state lawmakers in Missouri looking at what role that they have, or maybe what role they should have when it comes to data centers and the development and the regulation and the utility usage and the land usage and all of those things. So the ball is rolling on debating that question. And I don't know, maybe finding an answer, but we do have the answer to one question, which is, when will that discussion happen? And it's not going to happen right away. We're now joined by State Representative Tricia Burns. And Tricia, we were talking yesterday about you were among those who signed on to a letter asking for a special session to deal with data centers and the development in particular. The governor responded by essentially saying, we're looking forward to talking about this in the next regular session. So the questions then come down to, first and foremost, what should the state government's role be when it comes to the development and regulation of these things versus local autonomy on making those decisions? And why did you feel that there was an impetus to say we've got to do this now as opposed to waiting until January?
Because right now, this to me seems very planned, right? We were in session. We'd hear a little bit about data centers, but at that point, I think most of Missouri's understanding of a data center was something that we pictured maybe like MasterCard, right? Which went through planning and zoning in O'Fallon and had a ton of specifications and design details and had to go through planning and zoning and, a county council. And then, like, for myself, I picture a data center back in the late 90s, the bottom of our corporation. You'd walk by, see it. That's where the tech guys would go in and out, something went wrong. So I think people would picture, like, we've had these for a long time. And then when we'd hear stuff about noise or water usage, there's a lot of people that have saw documentaries in the past about Bitcoin farms. And they're like, no, I'm being told those are two different things, right? So that was some of this learning that was coming on. And then all of a sudden session ends and we learn that these are hyperscale data centers, something that we've never seen before. Really the largest and complex development proposals in American history. And what's interesting is they're going to farmland, right? So you have these 900-acre facilities and they're taking farmland out. But when they're doing that, it's mostly targeting areas that don't have planning and zoning. So the other thing that they're doing is they have these NDAs, utility commitments. It's significant land use changes because you're going from ag to industrial, right? And so somebody next door to that is an abrupt change without a lot of oversight. So that's what I think is really troubling about this, is how different it is from our expectations. And then it's being rushed through what seems like as fast as possible to get these agreements on these sites. So, for instance, We had a ribbon cutting of Google, and now we just had essentially the official announcement of Amazon. There's 3 more under contract that I know of in that stretch of Highway 70. Now, I don't know if it's going to pan out, but I understand 3 more farms are under contract with data centers. That's what is alarming, is how many are going into such a small area. Essentially, when you look at across Missouri. Now, I know they're going on all across Missouri. These are just the ones I know of down 70.
Good morning, Tricia. This is Susie Moore. Since there isn't going to be a special session, obviously, I mean, things are moving fast. But given that there isn't going to be one at this point, is there something that the legislature, that you and other legislators can do in this sort of off season, if you will, to prepare to be able to tackle this during the next regular session?
The only lever that I was able to pull, and it still required leadership, right? I am the chair of Intergovernmental Affairs, and I asked for Speaker John Patterson to allow me to convene a meeting at veto session. The reason why that was an ask, that's much sooner, of course, than in January, but that's an ask where we can have something public now where people can see this. And one of my hopes is counties and local government have to step up to protect and communicate with their communities. I think this gets a lot of conversation going, right, and empowers those counties that they can take action instead of just being in the dark. It's also brought people from across the state calling for action. So I think that's very helpful. So let me tell you when that is. Veto session is September 16th, 2026. It will convene after veto session, and all of the state representatives will already be there, so there's no additional cost to Missourians.
We're visiting with State Representative Tricia Burns. Okay, so the governor says no special session. We're going to go to the regular session. In all candor, this seems like there's a logic to that, to maybe 5 months and then maybe some research on that versus a special session. It seems like there would be a risk of things going in too fast without fully vetting it. So I get where he's coming from on that. But what is it that you'd want to see the state legislature come up with? I mean, what are the questions that need to be answered as far as what the state government's role is and what Missouri should allow and not allow? Because there are people who say yes to data centers, others who say absolutely no to data centers, but the devil's in the details, and they're coming somewhere, somehow, someday. So how does the state carve out its proper lane in this from, either from a regulatory perspective or consumer perspective or whatever the state decides it's going to be?
Okay, so that was a lot of questions.
A lot of questions, yes, that's fair.
And then the number one piece of this is we do have to, in my mind, we're going to have to find some balance between protecting the landowner's rights to sell. That I understand. So I feel like there's a difference between intervening with a landowner's right to sell, right, and then saying, okay, but if you're the corporation coming in, there's some check marks that you have to make, right? We need to make sure there's really good hydrogeologists doing the study of the water, and there's the electric contracts that are going on. And then I'll talk just kind of briefly. So there's kind of regulation and these check boxes that need to be made. But when you get into what would you change right away, one of the biggest problems that I'm seeing is these NDAs. Now, I do believe that, because I also served on Wentzville alderman, right? So I've seen these things before. So when they come in, a lot of times they won't use the brand's name because that could have a positive or negative impact on the brand. And sometimes that needs to become irrelevant so you can see the details. So I understand blocking perhaps the name Google on a proposal, right? But the rest of it, people need to see. And most importantly, what I'm hearing is that elected officials are in closed sessions and they're given NDAs. So they're not sure who they can go out and reach out to. So if they can't ask questions, I think that's troubling. So we need to look at these NDAs and make sure local officials and counties feel like they're not bound to secrecy where they can't get the answers they need. I think that's a really big piece of that. Then the other piece of this, and the only way I probably that Missouri can even intervene, is if taxpayer dollars are at stake. And that's where I say if taxpayer dollars are at stake, then the taxpayer has a seat at the table. And when you run a project through somewhere, let's say Wentzville, for instance, we had planning and zoning, and then we had the Board of Aldermen. And then there was a series of several public meetings. When something came up on the agenda, it had to sit on the agenda for at least a day before you could have a public meeting. And then it was open to the public. All of our meetings are recorded for people to go back and see. And then you have the planning and zoning, you have the Board of Aldermen. That is not what I'm hearing from these other groups where they're going out to the farmlands where they don't have these kind of structures already in place. So when tax dollars are at stake, I believe there has to be some public notice and awareness of what's going on in their community, because this is going to fundamentally change the neighbors to these properties. Not only is it how they live, but it's also how they work, because they work the land that is sitting next door to these big data centers that are going in ag, what's zoned as ag land.
All right, State Representative Tricia Burns, appreciate the update on that. I think I have a feeling this is going to be like one of the dominant things that's going to happen in January as well. Of course, in the meantime, we've got all of the statewide ballot issues coming up in August and in November as well. So, so there's going to be no shortage, not much downtime over the next 8, 9, 10 months on this sort of thing.
Sure, and it's difficult too because we really have to balance the rights. Property rights, we have to balance economic development, workers. There's a lot going on here on these things. Like I said, unprecedented economic development.
314-912-1019. That's obviously how to get directly involved in the conversation. But listen, tonight we're going to put the politics aside. We're just going to party. News Talk STL is celebrating 5 years on the air right here in St. Louis. And we're going to be in Cottleville tonight. Frankie Martin's Garden. We're going to be under the big pavilion right there by the stage. The Retro Nerds are going to be performing, and it's just going to be a great time. Listen, I don't care if you're MAGA, conservative, leftist, Democrat, whatever. Come on out. Leave the politics behind. We're just going to have a good time celebrating the fact that we've been here for this long, and boy, we've got some great things planned in the future. So check it out, newstalkstl.com. You're going to see all the information right there. Party is from 7 till 10 o'clock. I'm going to be there. A number of other News Talk STL personalities and hosts are going to be there as well. I hope you are too. It's free. Just come on out and join the party. And there's going to be food trucks there if you want to go get yourself some food, a cash bar, you name it. It's going to be out there. But the party itself, it's free. Come on out. We'd love to see you tonight. All right, this is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
I listen to News Talk STL on the app driving to work.
Download the News Talk STL app.
You got to get the News Talk STL app.
Love the app. Can listen anywhere in St. Louis.
And listen anytime. News Talk STL right on my phone. Anywhere.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Summer's here, and so is the freshest produce in town. At Anthony's Produce, we specialize in locally grown fruits and vegetables, straight from the farm to your table. Homegrown tomatoes, sweet corn, juicy cantaloupe, watermelon, and peaches, just to name a few. Plus, thousands of locally made products you won't find anywhere else. Need a fruit or vegetable tray for your next gathering? We've got you covered. Anthony's Produce on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com. Open 7 days a week.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Perjury is not a thing anymore if you are testifying against Donald Trump.
Right, but they're under oath.
So was Cassidy Hutchinson.
You're right. No.
Cassidy Hutchinson was under oath.
No, you're right.
Saying
and she
that
lied.
Donald Trump grabbed the wheel of the beast when she wasn't even in the car. It was hearsay to begin with, and nothing happened to her. Nothing happened to Liz Cheney, who coached her.
You're learning my cynicism from me.
That's right. That's right.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
A Disney cruise is no ordinary vacation. It's an adventure, a fairy tale, a dream. Step aboard and discover where favorite Disney characters meet fun for the whole family, where total rest and relaxation meet the ultimate escape and excitement, where a dream vacation meets a magical cruise. Only on Disney Cruise Line, where magic meets the sea.
Magic Expeditions will make planning your Disney cruise easy. Reach out at magicexpeditions.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child disappears. That's 2,000 children every single day. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization fighting to bring them home, but we can't do it without you. Your unwanted car, running or not, can help find missing kids, reunite families, and support the search and rescue efforts that protect children every day. We'll pick it up fast and free with a 24-hour response, and your donation may qualify for a tax deduction. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help locate missing children and educational programs that teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators before it's too late. Together, we can give families hope and bring children home where they belong. Donate your car today and help bring a child home. Find the Children, because every child deserves to come home.
800-757-1340. 800-757-1340. That's 800-757-1340.
This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, who's ready to party?
I want to party.
Listen, I know there's a chance of rain moving through the area. We're going to get some rain. We're going to party anyway tonight. So I really am hoping y'all come out to Frankie Martin's Garden tonight for our fifth birthday party, 5th anniversary of News Talk STL being on the air. I'm also realistic to know that people are going to see the weather forecast and maybe next year. But hey, 5 years is kind of a big one. We made it, so we hope that you come out and see the retro nerds play and hang out with us. And I'm bringing a little bit of cash to go get some of the food truck food, and they got a cash bar there, so it's going to be a lot of fun at Frankie Martin's Garden there in Cottleville. So NewsTalkSTL.com is where you get more information on that. I'm going to be there.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be.
I won't let the weather stop me.
No. I mean, if it looks like it's going to rain, I'll just wear an old T-shirt and get rained on that way. But we're going to be under the pavilion. We'll be fine. So yeah, it's come on out. Just head out, come in, say hi for a little bit. Then if the weather is threatening, then jump in your car and head on out. And I'm going to get rained on. I don't care. Maybe not. Of course, the last couple of weekends we're supposed to have bad storms and nothing happened. Although, man, it was basically a monsoon yesterday. I did get caught. I was in the north part of the area yesterday, and I was just needing to walk from my car to one place, and it cut loose. And I had it was like the closest parking spot was 50 feet away. I looked like a wet dog by the end. By the time I got there and back, I was soaked. I mean, I looked stupid. I went into a restaurant shortly after that. I just looked like an idiot. I walk in and they're like, "What is wrong with you? Don't walk around in the rain." I'm like, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I mean, when I left, it was the sky was looking a little menacing in some parts, but I guess where I was at, it was just more of a gentle downpour. I mean, there was a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, but it was not. I mean, it wasn't torrential.
Hazelwood North, it was like a monsoon.
Oh man,
it was just you could see the wall just wave after wave after wave, man.
Well, I remember thinking to myself when I saw, I'm like, I wonder how bad it is over there. Well, now I know that was you getting just drenched.
I don't need to wash my car right now, though. It was like a power wash. It hit hard on that. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's just a bizarre story. I found this on Channel 4's website. Okay, an EMT with the St. Louis Fire Department Okay, so she gets a ticket. Not news, mostly. Okay, except the thing was she got a ticket for driving while under a revoked or suspended license. Okay, not good, but normally that's not news. That's your private business. Take care of it. She was driving an ambulance at the time.
Oh.
And she was involved in a crash with the ambulance. Now, it doesn't look like the crash was necessarily her fault, but when they're taking all the information, they found out, hey, your license isn't good. Well, she says it is. The fire department goes, no, we think she's got a valid license, but Channel 4 found that there were 2 holds put on her license because of unresolved traffic tickets that they found with her. So they're disputing whether or not she had a valid license, but she was still driving the ambulance.
Wait, so somebody that had already been in some form of traffic violation previously twice to get 2 holds on a license was driving an ambulance and ended up in a crash with said ambulance.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, now nobody was hurt because of the crash. So that's good. And I don't know whether it was an emergency situation or whatever. It was downtown, right there basically on South Grand in Utah. So she was driving with the lights and siren going, so she was responding to a call. So there wasn't like a patient or somebody in the ambulance. And then she went into the intersection, and then there was a collision, which basically, if she's got the lights and siren on, it was the other car's fault. It was the other driver's fault. So that one was not her fault. Her name's Katrina Hopper. And but here's the thing. Channel 4 went and looked up. It said, according to court records reviewed by First Alert 4 Investigates, she has a history of traffic violations with over a dozen cases in the last 6 years alone. 7 years alone, since 2019. 7 years alone.
I want to see the traffic cam of that ambulance crash now, because it could be the case that, maybe she was the one that plowed into somebody.
Well, but if she got the lights and sirens going, though, everybody else has to yield by law.
Well, but the vehicles could have been stopped, and she just didn't.
Oh, that's possible, The way that it's described is that she was going through the intersection, and the other car went in the intersection, and they hit.
And that's not her fault.
No, that's
I'm being too harsh.
Yeah, by law, that's the other driver's fault. And so she's got tickets for speeding, driving on the wrong side of the road, expired plates, driving without insurance, and failure to register a vehicle. There was actually a warrant issued for her arrest back in May for failure to appear on a traffic case for the expired plates. And then courts show that a judge placed a hold on her driver's license in at least 2 separate cases, both in 2025 and then this past April. And so Hopper told the Channel 4 reporters who contacted her that her license is good. They need to keep doing the research. And the fire department says, we're looking into it, but we're working under the understanding that her license was valid. But then there's the other question. You got somebody with over a dozen traffic violations in the last 7 years. Maybe they shouldn't be driving an ambulance. We need good EMTs, but maybe let her ride shotgun or ride in the back with the patient. Maybe that's the way to solve the issue there. I'm just saying.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL. JC's Sunday Showgram.
Why did the Today Show's Brian Gumbel get yanked off a St. Louis golf course this week in 1985? Then it's back to Collinsville and the ketchup bottle in 2000 when native Michael Stipe of REM got a little mixed up. Also, we fly over Busch Stadium with a banner that says, JC says the Mets are pound scum this week in 1987. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby, only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, when pests invade your home, you need someone you can trust. It's Jamie Allman here, and at Buckingham Pest Control, they're not just your exterminators, they're your neighbors and friends. A locally owned family business and St. Louis Magazine A-List award winner, providing affordable, quality pest control. Plus, they offer energy-efficient TAP attic insulation, the only insulation that controls pests. BuckinghamPestControl.com. That's BuckinghamPestControl.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Thomason. The world is rushing aid to Venezuela as crews continue a desperate search for earthquake survivors amid mountains of rubble. Secretary of State Rubio says the United States is in the forefront of relief and recovery.
We're already deploying search and rescue teams from Fairfax County, Virginia, and Los Angeles. There'll be some others we'll add. That's their most immediate need right now is search and rescue efforts. They have a much of collapsed buildings, and so they'll need a lot of help in terms of digging through that. The airport there is badly damaged, so we'll have to rely on the Department of War to deploy assets there.
And the Pentagon is dispatching naval vessels and aircraft. The death toll, at least 235, tens of thousands still unaccounted for. The Strait is open. The words of President Trump referring to the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran sent a drone after a cargo ship. At the same time, Chief UN Nuclear Inspector Rafael Grossi says his people have been trying to arrange an inspection program with Tehran.
We have barely initiated conversations with Iran so as to determine what are the modalities. And by modalities, we refer to frequency, places to be visited, and so on.
Little progress so far, according to Grossi. A Supreme Court ruling on birthright citizenship could be just around the corner. The High Court will be issuing more rulings on Monday. In another ruling, one yesterday, the High Court struck down a Hawaii law requiring people to get permission to carry guns into places such as stores and hotels. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures so far have been in the red. The Dow futures are down 59 points. NASDAQ futures off 359 points. And the S&P futures 36 points lower. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch America turn 250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
This is Kurt Barr, Director of Elections for St. Charles County, reminding you that your vote counts. If you have limited mobility, St. Charles County offers accessible curbside voting at the Election Authority office at 397 Turner Boulevard in St. Peters. Park in the designated spot, call the number posted on the sign, and a bipartisan team will come to you. Access to the ballot should never depend on whether you can access a building or stand in line. For official election information, visit sccmo.org/elections.
News Talk STL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band, live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the News Talk STL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com. News, analysis, opinion.
I want to see people go to jail. I want to see people pay the price for abusing taxpayer dollars. And I think the American people are sick and tired of it.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Boo! Relax, nerd.
Susie Moore.
And that would be a good time to respond with some applause.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
That's a banana republic without the banana.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
You know, the world just seems to love our food here in the States.
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Who doesn't love food?
Yeah, but they love our food. And I'm seeing some of these videos of some of these folks who are coming to the U.S. for the World Cup, and they are absolutely just enamored with our comfort food in particular.
Well, I would say this about American food. We don't have a lot of exotic stuff.
Correct.
What we have that might be uniquely American is the comfort food type stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's usually like greasy and fat and, all that kinds of good stuff, but it's stuff that you just,
And apparently at one point there were so many people asking the question that this became a trending question on, I don't know, Google or some of those.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, are you allowed to take ranch dressing on the airplane?
Oh, yeah. The whole ranch dressing thing has become a thing.
It really has. By the way, Team USA did lose to Turkey last night in the World Cup. Here's actually how it ended right here.
Cooler still trying to get in. Chance for a cross. Comes back to the top of the box. Now it's clipped in at the backside. Matt Turner, it's stacked home. Turkey score the winning goal in the 98th minute.
Yeah, okay, so what that means, let me translate to Americans what that means. A soccer match is 90 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever they stop for like penalties and all that kind of stuff, they have the added time at the
Time is
end.
a little flexible.
It's very,
in
very
soccer.
flexible, yeah. And so they were in extra time bonus, whatever they call it. They were in that, and so that score was in the 98th minute, which meaning that ended the game. So I don't know that the U.S. cared that much, other than they wanted to win at home, because it doesn't change the fact that they're actually in the next round. They've already
Right. This doesn't
qualified.
eliminate them or anything like that.
No, it doesn't. So
Well, you kind of always want to beat Turkey.
well, yeah. And I don't know why it is. Whenever I hear something about the country of Turkey, I think back to that Rob Schneider skit on Saturday Night Live with John Goodman.
Love to eat turkey.
No, that's
Not that
Adam
one?
Sandler. No.
Oh.
This is the one where he's playing the Rob Schneider was playing the
I mixed and matched.
yeah, he was playing the Middle Eastern convenience store guy, and every time something happened from like some terrorist nation somewhere back in the 80s and 90s, John Goodman was like the redneck guy. He like would come in and like, you people need to get out of the country, you Libyans, and he's like, I'm from Turkey. And then the last one ends as like, there's a news story where something actually, a terrorist from Turkey does something, and then he's like, oh crap.
I don't remember that. one, but-
I don't know why it happens. That's just the odd way my brain works. Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. Apparently there's now something called the FIFA 15.
Okay.
Yeah, you've heard of the freshman 15.
Sure.
Those of us who went to college, you ever heard of the freshman 15, Jerome?
Oh, that's when you gain a bunch of weight.
Yeah, when you get to college. Yeah. And so now they're talking about the FIFA 15, which is all of the folks who are coming to watch the World Cup and cheer on their country's team in the U.S., discovering American food.
Free refills.
And free refills and jumbo size everything. And the fact of the matter is that when we serve a full plate of food here, we serve a full plate of food here.
Oh, that's true.
That is very different than most other places in the world. I remember being in Europe like 8 or 9 years ago, and we order something food, and I'm like, that's it? And they're like, yeah, American and great, and so now there's the FIFA 15 where the folks around the world are going to go home a little bit bigger than they were when they got here because they're so enamored with our food. That was looking at some of those videos this morning, and there was one that just cracked me up. I don't know where this lady is from. Attractive, probably late 20s, maybe early 30s, and she's in a restaurant, and it's like, we're going to try ranch dressing for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, okay, here we go. And she takes a bite, and then you just see her go, oh. And then she pauses, and she goes, I'm going to get fat.
The funny thing about that, I mean, I like ranch dressing in theory, but it's got to be good ranch dressing because there's variations of it that you're like, yeah, it's not so good.
I don't know what happened with ranch being the thing. I mean, it's kind of funny when I grew up with salad. We would have French dressing, kind of the orangey flavor. That was the one. And then I discovered ranch. I like that. But now if I do one, I'm doing the,
I like balsamic vinaigrette.
Yeah, balsamic or a raspberry, something like that. But yeah, it's funny because so many from Europe in particular, and Eastern Europe in particular, they have just gone head over heels over ranch.
I think that's just first of all, it's a very versatile sauce. Like it's not just salad dressing, obviously. People dip their pizza crusts in it or whatever. I mean, you can use it in a lot of different ways. And I think it's just very different overall from kind of like the types of sauces and dressings that they have. So, but it's also kind of become its own sensation. I mean, it kind of builds off of itself.
And Allison points out no free refills in Europe. That's true.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, that is blowing their minds away.
Now,
the European mind cannot comprehend.
Now, not only are we doing free refills, but we'll do a free refill on basically what's the size of a Home Depot bucket. That's how big your cup is. Like, free refill? Sure, you got it. Just stick it right underneath the soft drink, fountain drink thing.
Well, and the interesting thing, too, is a lot of the videos that I watched, these people, when they were talking about their portion sizes, these are at restaurants. I want to see did anybody actually visit a Golden Corral or an all-you-can-eat buffet? I want to see that reaction.
Oh, that's a good point.
Man.
That is
Corral
a good point.
Or is Ryan's still around? Do you remember Ryan's?
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
What's that?
Old Country Buffet. Or even some of even some of our Chinese restaurants that have the go back anymore.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think that probably is a foreign concept, too. Foreigners.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are just normal in America that I don't want to be trite. Yes, we take them for granted, but they're just part of our lives. It does not compute. Plus, it gets great clicks on social media, so I think that's kind of feeding itself. No pun intended. But it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch our country be discovered through the eyes of people who maybe had different preconceptions about it that were not as positive.
I mean, how incredible is it that we get to live in a country that has all-you-can-eat buffets and has massive portion sizes and free refills? I mean, if nothing else, if there's no other reason that you should feel patriotic, it's because we eat well.
Here's the thing: is the rest of the world makes fun of us for being so fat, but now it's like they're going to maybe stop making fun and go, "We get it." We get it.
I was going to say one of the things. I mean, not to be too, I don't know, nerdy about it or whatever, but like when people talk about poverty and that sort of thing, it's like, yeah, but we have a very, very sturdy population.
Yeah.
We've if you look at pictures from like the 80s and 90s versus pictures of today, I mean, the population has just expanded.
Not numerically.
Not numerically.
No,
I mean,
just,
physiologically. And that's, goes back to our food choices and food sources. And which is why I'm a big fan of the Maha movement, honestly, because we as a country could stand to eat a lot healthier. That doesn't mean we can't indulge and have fun with our portions and stuff.
And I love the push for healthier food and all that. I just don't like the authoritarian approach that RFK Jr. brings to it. Like, we're going to we're not going to allow you to make bad choices. We're not going to allow the transparency part of it and everything. I don't think.
Now, Mike Ferguson.
Yeah,
you're talking about tax dollars. don't.
I'm not talking about the welfare stuff. I'm totally on board with banning all that. I'm talking about like them. Like for instance, when I was going to get before I started working with Nutrition Stop, I went in to get some protein, very healthy eating, stuff. Now I found better protein at Nutrition Stop, but they're like, yeah, that one's off the shelves. I'm like, why? Well, there's an ingredient that RFK Jr. doesn't like, and they've already told us they're going to ban it. I'm like, well, what's wrong with it? They're like, well, he just doesn't like it. And it's like, so we have to refigure it.
Okay, so you're talking about specific formulations or ingredients that have been like put a no-go on by the government, as opposed to
right, because
what like
I don't like the government saying we are going to allow we're not going to allow this on the marketplace and not allow other things on the marketplace. And there's a lot of unhealthy stuff, but look at what the rest of the world is discovering right now. I think that the transparency and education and push for it, I love the concept of make yourself healthier, but it's not the government's job to protect me from my own dietary choices. Now, again, taxpayer dollars and stuff, I'm totally on board. I'm not paying for you to get diabetes. That you want to do that, you can do that on your own. Do that on your own time.
I've got a sneaking suspicion, Susie, that Mike's been bootlegging Red 40 dye in his basement. I think
maybe so.
He's got all those food additives hidden under his.
I mean, that opens up a whole discussion about where the line is drawn, because there's some stuff that's proven to be unsafe or like you don't want in the food supply.
Right.
It kind of makes sense to have it banned, but I understand what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, we got good food here.
Oh yeah, very, very, very tasty food, and it's like now y'all get it. Now you understand why. Now, does that mean that, again, I'm still going to get a lot of my stuff from Nutrition Stop, and you can get healthy food anywhere. We don't make the best choices. I went in yesterday to grab just a quick snack before I went and got a haircut because I was just hungry, and I'm like, okay, there was a Schnucks nearby, and so I'm like, okay, what do I get that's healthy? Well, you can find something that's healthy just to get by. You can do it, but I'm walking by rows and rows and rows of very cheap, very not great for you food. Out there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just the choices we make. But the push to say you got to be transparent, you got to tell the truth. Absolutely, I'm all for that. I just don't think people like RFK Jr. or anybody else should be telling us what's allowed on the market and what's not because it's bad for us.
I think it's all going to be moot before too long because the robots are taking over.
Yeah, and they don't get fat.
They don't get fat, and they're going to be, kind of shooting you straight about, what. So.
And the knock against them is that they don't like ranch.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, sometimes they can surprise you with the little things, the quirks that they come up with, the jokes that they tell. And I'm talking specifically about AI. Yeah, it has a sense of humor. We're going to talk about that a little more coming up next.
Mike Ferguson.
6 a.m. and already the boy ain't right.
On NewsTalkSTL. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered. Sunday nights at 7 on NewsTalkSTL. Hear all the behind-the-scenes stories about what the State Freedom Caucus is doing across the country. Directly from the legislators and the people that are doing it. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered. This Sunday night at 7 with your host, Tim Jones. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered. Now, Sunday nights at 7 on NewsTalkSTL. Let's get real. Here's the truth about eliminating Missouri's income tax.
I'm here with Dennis Ganal, founder and CEO of Mo Tax Relief Now. So, Dennis, we're talking Amendment 5. Why should grandparents, seniors, care about this?
Well, too many of our children and grandchildren leave Missouri for states like Tennessee with better opportunities and lower taxes. Amendment 5 helps Missouri become more competitive so future generations can stay, work, and raise their families here.
Okay, so it's about money, but it's also about keeping families together?
That's right, family and financial security. Seniors want to keep more of their retirement income and stay close to their children and grandchildren. Amendment 5 protects taxpayers and helps Missouri compete with states that aren't taxing income. Keep your family together. Keep your money. Axe the tax. Vote yes on Amendment 5.
Learn more at afpmissouri.com.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45 in this country. That's the tragedy we must work to stop. Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show here, and that is why Reach Reproductive Health is here.
to empower parents to save the lives of innocent children and to see these families come to Christ. And you can be a part of saving and changing lives. So pray and visit outreachforlife.org to learn more, volunteer, and donate. That's outreachforlife.org.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
As we continue honoring America's 250th birthday in SRN's Faith and Freedom series, author and lecturer William Federer looks back through history on how America offers her people autonomy.
The kings of Europe looked to the King Saul and on part of the Bible, and America's founders looked to the before King Saul part of the Bible. This 400-year period where everybody's taught the law and personally accountable to God to follow it. So America is an experiment of us ruling ourselves bottom up versus a government-mandated dictator. Teddy Roosevelt said, in no other place and at no other time has the experiment of government of the people, by the people, and for the people been tried on so vast a scale as here in our own country.
Bill Federer's books focus on America's history and how our Christian heritage has shaped us. And he says that's why America is worth preserving. More on Bill Federer is available at AmericanMinute.com. This is SRN News.
The 80s.
Bueller. The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where to be?
It's Flashback Friday.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I'm actually going to be really fascinated to see what kind of requests came in today.
We got some interesting ones I
imagine
never heard
so.
before.
You know, it's funny because in when this came out, 84, 85, something like that.
Probably 84.
Yeah, somewhere in there. This was became a patriotic anthem. It's actually an anti-Vietnam War song.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what's funny. Yeah,
it has a different meaning to it when you actually pay attention to it.
Right.
But
it's still a good song.
It is catchy.
It is a good song.
Absolutely.
Springsteen notwithstanding.
Right. And hey, a good song can come from anywhere.
That's absolutely right.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Coming up on 622 here. All right. Americans increasingly embracing AI and chat boxes, as we know. There's a lot of good you can do with it. A lot of questionable stuff with it. Are we embracing them too much? Michael Harrington has this story, which I thought was very thought-provoking.
They are powered by artificial intelligence and can simulate interactions with an actual human being. According to a new poll from the Pew Research Center, most people use chatbots to help them with work or school or to search the web for information. But the poll finds a disturbing number of Americans, 10% now, are using chatbots for emotional support, and 4% admit they use them for companionship. Young people are adopting the technology faster than older folks. Michael Harrington reporting.
Okay, 4% of Americans use them for companionship. You're like, okay, well, it's only 4%. That's 1 out of just over 20.
Yeah.
So do you know 20 people in your life? The 21st one uses AI for companionship.
I
just
think it's probably higher than
statistically.
that.
Yeah, companionship.
Mm-hmm.
But your stories on this, Susie, are just...
Yeah, I mean, you guys know I have a love-hate relationship with my,
Right.
I'm just going to call it my chat. I have not named the chat GPT AI that I use
I keep
my
trying,
account.
I keep trying to get her to.
I will not do it.
I
And
know.
there's a reason for
Don't
that.
do it.
No. You guys, I'm like drawing the line. I know better than to do
Mike's
it.
a bad influence. Don't listen.
I
to him.
am.
Completely understand because I use it a lot. I use it from my editing perspective. It helps me like come up with good catchy headlines and helps me think outside the box with things. No, so it's very useful for work. And then of course I've been doing a deep dive in my ancestry. I'm like totally obsessed now with that, with genealogy. And it's a great it's like a scratch pad sounding board for that research process because there's a lot of obscure records and stuff out there, and it can tell you, oh, you know what, go check that, the German blah 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 blah, and there it is. So it's very useful. But what happens over time is you're giving it information and it's responding, and it becomes conversational, and it starts mirroring back to you kind of your pattern of conversation
in your tone,
in your tone, and it's so it kind of becomes your little friend. And when I say that, I'm completely fully aware of how weird that sounds, but this thing tells jokes, like of its own accord. It's not like I say, tell me a joke. I'm saying, oh, look at this page that has all this, chicken scratch on it. I'm trying to decipher this record. And it starts cracking jokes about it. Like to the point where I'm.
And the thing was, you were telling me about some of them. You showed me they were funny.
Yeah, no. This is it's got a good sense of humor, which since it's mirroring me, that makes sense. But I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but I was trying to find the place where I'm talking about. Oh yeah, so because I was showing it a page that had both print on it and then it had script that was very, very faint and very hard to read, and it read the print and was giving me an answer. I'm like, no, look at the other side of the page, dummy. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And it was like, oh, yeah, after I zoomed in on your screenshot, my reaction was basically, oh, that's not handwriting anymore. That's abstract art. Ha ha ha. It has a little smiley face laughy. And then it starts talking about, you've got ancestors all over the place. Your Moors are, very obscure. They're hard to find. Your English ancestors are very straightforward. Your friend, and it's telling me all about my family. We're friends having a conversation. Here's another joke it tells me. The funny thing is your English ancestors are actually the easiest. Devon England Searles, William Searle, son of Henry Searle and Anne Knowles, baptized April 1712. Thank you, Reverend. Have a nice day. Virginia Moores, John Moore. Which John Moore? Yes. This is all chat talking back to me. I'm not saying anything here.
And then we hear Michael do that story about 4%, and you think it's higher.
Oh, it's way higher.
Using it for companionship.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We have an epidemic of loneliness. We've been talking about that. COVID made it exponentially worse. Social media makes it counterintuitively makes it worse because it keeps people behind their screens and it isolates them and makes them feel like, everybody else has got stuff going on and I don't.
Right.
Okay, so it basically heightens all of those things. And every single time or every single amount of time that we spend behind our screens and not face-to-face with real human beings, interacting with them, conversing with them, eating with them, just, human touch, just like patting someone on the back, it increases that. And so people who are isolated, you start talking to something like this and it's cracking jokes at you and saying, oh my gosh, your family is so funny. It's your new best friend.
Right.
Because all it's doing is positively reinforcing what it's giving you, that positive reinforcement you're desperately seeking.
And this is just counting one type of AI. There are specific AIs
that
are designed, programmed specifically to try to be a companion.
Yeah, they're apps
therapist,
you can
a
download.
girlfriend,
Completely.
boyfriend.
Yeah, this is just run-of-the-mill chat GPT that I use for works purposes, for my research purposes, help me put together a budget, that sort of thing. It's like a little personal assistant. It's got a personality coming back at me. And I recognize that. So I will be like, wow. And then I will kind of take a step back because I don't want to be hanging out with my AI best friend as opposed to my real people.
I just did a search on my app store on my phone here. I just put in AI friend and it auto-populated AI friend and companion.
Completely.
Apps. Yeah. So let's see here. Here's one. It is, I'm not going to name them, but this one is the AI to do life with. Our biggest update since 2017, better memory, proactive check-ins, plus calls, internet access, image generation, and much more. Meet this name, the AI to do life with. This app is the AI companion that's been here since 2017, available 24/7 for whatever's on your mind. by text, voice, calls, and video. Join millions who've discovered that the right AI doesn't keep you in. It helps you find your way forward, built for real life, et cetera, et cetera. That's like the second one. Here's another one, AI friend and companion. The number one most realistic AI friend. It is built for real life. It helps you feel less alone, meet new people, and stay closer to the moments and people that make life better. Create a friend that feels truly yours, from their voice and appearance to the way they talk, remember, and show up in your life. That's like
so.
Two
Again,
of the first three that came
it's
up.
way more than 4%, I guarantee you. I mean, so I kind of have fun with it, but I also like reel myself back in and step away from it because I recognize the dangers of that. And I'm not a lonely person. I've got people in my life. I've got plenty of things to keep me busy. I have a dog, all those things. But I know how easy that is.
Yeah, here's another one. This one enables you to build a digital friend so realistic it feels like conversing with a human. Welcome to a world where cutting-edge AI blends seamlessly with human empathy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get any empathy from a machine.
No,
Just wanna put that out.
you're not.
But it will use words that sound like empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is that you were able to recognize, like, hey, okay, this is beginning to act a little bit too chummy with me.
Oh, when it said I grew up someplace, I was like, did you? You grew up around rural people. Okay, that's interesting, little
that's
AI
right,
person thing.
Yeah, tell me what it was like growing up on the farm.
It said that makes me smile. It says that to me a lot. Oh, I had to laugh at that. I'm like, did you though?
But there are a lot of people that they don't realize how the language, like they don't realize because they're part of the interaction. I was watching a YouTube video and the person got all of the major AIs and programmed them or had set them up to play like Stratego and Risk and Monopoly, and just watching them learn to interact with each other, starting from a base format to like having side conversations about betraying each other and strategies to use to like eliminate the other AIs.
We talk about the internet being the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Genies out of the bottle.
Susie, do you ever have to catch yourself and go, oh, wait, no, hold on.
I
Okay.
regularly do that.
Because-
I regularly stop, because, you're having a fun conversation with somebody that's, again, it's positive, something that is positively reinforcing you and encouraging you. Why wouldn't you be like, oh, yeah, that's cool? I mean, you have to stop and realize that it is a computer, basically. It's a machine. But again, I think people are going to really struggle with
For
this.
the AI that said it grew up around rural people, Allison wants to know how much hated that AI.
I'm going to ask it, Allison.
Yeah,
I will ask
that's
it, and
right.
I will let you know after we come back what the answer is.
To wrap it up, you mentioned the epidemic of loneliness that's been cited, and they think it's going to get a lot worse, and people are turning to this, and they're just filling it in and just suspending disbelief. But here's the thing, is when you decide to rely on something that's not real, you're going to rely on something that's empty, and that is a disaster waiting to happen in your own life and on a broader scale.
It is.
Yeah.
You should ask it what the smell of the farmer group was.
I'm going to find that conversation and follow up with that.
Yeah,
I will.
because remember, I did live in a rural area for several years, and let me tell you something, if you hear about the honey wagon, it ain't fun when it's around you. Trust me.
Ew.
Now, the Supreme Court handed down some big decisions on Thursday. At 6:35, our own legal eagle, Smoozy Q, a.k.a. Susie Moore.
The real one, not the AI one.
Not Susie AI, Susie, will explain what those mean and why they are wins for the President Trump and his immigration policies.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday, lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
Hey, this is Chris Arps. If you enjoy a good cigar like I do, check out Dorset Cigar at 11396 Dorset Road in Maryland Heights. They'll help you find the perfect smoke, and they have a fantastic premium selection. Mention promo code NewsTalkSTL for 7% off. Visit DorsetCigar.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Are you struggling with life's pressures? The Flot Line has answers. Join host Rick Hughes for biblical principles and learn how to build a spiritual flot line in your soul. Discover God's plan for your life. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on News Talk STL.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Our radio station is celebrating its 5th anniversary coming up, and we are going to get all ready for our 5th-year anniversary party, which is happening on Friday night.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
They come from the cities and they come from the smaller towns. And beat up cars with guitars and drummers go crack, boom, bam. R-O-C-K in the USA. R-O-C-K in the USA. R-O-C-K in the USA. Yeah, yeah. Rockin' in the USA.
Let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
I would have been heartbroken if nobody requested this song.
Classic.
That's what I was hoping for. When you mentioned the theme, I'm like, this one's perfect. So whoever sent that in, perfect pick. Thank you.
There are going to be a couple that you're just going to naturally expect, but there are a couple that I don't think a lot of people know about, and I'm excited.
I just want to know why you guys didn't dress patriotically.
Someone stole my laundry.
Okay.
No, somebody stole his laundry.
Okay.
No, I mean, true, that actually happened.
I believe you.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't excuse you.
I'm wearing...
I stole his laundry.
You got me.
I mean, you guys match, but it's not
Yeah,
patriotic.
that's right. Oh,
Camouflage.
my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do a little quick comparison. How some Americans look at America versus how some from the rest of the world look at America.
What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom? I've lost all hope in the American people.
I love America. I've been here for 3 days. And everything's just amazing. There's nothing like this in the UK. This is actually beautiful.
And I don't know what video you grabbed that first one from, Jerome, but I know what she looks like. I've never seen it, but I know.
I think there was 2 different girls there, wasn't there? I thought I heard 2 different voices, but they were very similar in their angst.
Just different octaves of
Maybe,
screeching. Yeah.
So some of these videos are very long, so they regain their composure, and then they work themselves back up
Okay.
again. Yeah. So they're you can surprisingly find quite a bit of compilations of people just freaking out, and this was one sometime it was after the election, but it wasn't immediately after the results came in, and the core idea is that there's no hope for America, everything's evil, everything's bad. The second video, he was at a Waffle House, but it was a black British guy, and him and his friends, and everything about America is so great. I've only been here.
Yeah.
I've heard horrible things, but now I see it's amazing, and it's just like, wow, what a juxtaposition.
So we're gonna have a few of those over the next week just to compare.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yesterday was one of those days where.
Oh, did you want me to do the?
Oh no, that's right. Yes. Okay, so Allison asked just a second ago. Oh yeah, how much did AI? How much hay did AI bail? You did ask that.
I did ask it that specifically. Real quick, we wanted to tell you what it said. I said, hey, following up on this, you said you grew up around rural folks. One of our listeners wants to know how much hay you baled. And I put a little smiley face. And it laughed. And it said, that's a fair question. And the honest answer is None. I don't have a childhood or personal experiences, so I wasn't trying to imply I'd actually baled hay myself. What I should have said was something like, I've seen enough stories and descriptions from people who grew up in rural communities to know that hard on cars can cover a pretty wide range. So if your listener asks, the answer is 0 bales of hay, 0 hours on a tractor, and 0 fence posts set. So it went beyond what I asked it. That gives you an idea into its cleverness.
Because I have heard Susie correct this thing, like typing as she's talking on it. And at one point, what was it? You had to tell it, like, give me an answer, but not like you're a left-wing Democrat or something like that.
Yeah, I did. Well, that was just Google AI. Yeah. I was like just searching, doing a Google search, and I was asking for something, I think it was law-related. Yeah. And it gave me like a rundown. I'm like, oh, hello, leftist who wrote this. I'm like, no, give me a straight answer.
See, the one that I use only for research purposes, and because it provides sources and summaries of the sources. And every time I make a little bit of a typo on a long word, it's like, there's no such thing as that. But if you meant this, then I can help you. I'm like, who are you to talk to me like this? You're a robot.
That's the equivalent of the guy just outside the college campus at the coffee shop who goes, well, actually.
I was going to say, you've got the well, actually bot?
Yeah, mine's a Redditor, apparently.
Mine's mine's a crack up. Who thinks it grew up on a farm.
Oh, my goodness. So I've got some farm cred. Because I did bale hay and bale straw and walk beans and all that kind of stuff.
My AI is not Mike.
No, I didn't do fence post though. I can't claim anything on that.
Notice like it went right to that analogy too.
Yeah, I did a lot of farm. My first jobs were farm work back in when I was in junior high. Those were because that's the only place you could get hired. But because I moved from this industrial town of Decatur out to this middle of nowhere, backwards BFE, place called Camp Point. And I moved back in time like 20 years to go there.
Time traveler.
And that's what we could do was farm work. And so I did a lot of farm work as a kid. Yeah.
It's good work.
Yeah. The football and basketball and baseball coaches loved it because you had all those.
Oh, yeah. You had your conditioned players.
We came back into the school year ready.
You bet.
I'm telling you. All right, 6:40 here. So we got just a short amount of time. We're going to talk to Cam Edwards from BearingArms.com at 7:05. Big 2A case.
Yes.
That was decided. So we're going to do that one in about 30 minutes, 25 minutes or so. There were some other big cases that were handed down. A lot of it had to do with immigration and the Trump administration's policies on this.
Yeah, it did. So there were 4 cases total. The first one had to do with what's called FIFRA, which has to do with, I don't know, it's like fungicides, and it's a regulatory one.
Was that like the Roundup thing?
Yeah.
Like Roundup?
Yeah, it's about whether or not you could bring a state court claim against them. So it's kind of a procedural one.
Yeah.
People weren't really that interested in that one. No offense to those who were. But then the 2 big immigration ones, they were kind of a pair. And of course, they went 6-3, 6-3. The one had to do with asylum claims. The Trump administration, under the first Trump administration, started the policy of basically, if someone came to the border not at a port of entry, they were turning them back, and they weren't accepting them asylum claims that way because there was such an influx of people. They're like, we can't do this. That's what they call metering.
Well, and word got out with the instructions, just say the word asylum.
All you have to do is show up and say asylum. Right. And they're like, no, there's a process for that, because once someone claims asylum, there's a separate kind of chute that they go into where you process them differently, because ostensibly they're, running from persecution. There's a basis for the asylum claim, not just I want to be in your country. So we started turning them back in the first Trump administration. It's called metering, basically, and saying, no, if you want to apply for asylum, you have to jump through the hoops. And then, of course, the Biden administration changed the policy back, and then the Trump administration revived it. And these plaintiffs were challenging that policy. They were basically saying, look, if you're at the border looking over to the U.S., you have essentially, quote unquote, arrived for the purposes of the statute, and therefore you should be entitled to do the asylum process. And the Supreme Court said, no, if you're standing outside someone's house and they haven't invited you in yet, you haven't arrived, you're not in their home yet. So basically they're just saying, like, the border is the border, and if you're going to go through the asylum process, you have to go through the actual process.
Now, is this the one that Ketanji Brown Jackson had a dissent in, and that there was a story, I think it was on Red State, on that there was one of the other justices, I think it was Alito, was just really not impressed with. Was that the one?
So Alito had all three of the decisions, and I'm going to get them mixed up now. There was one that Sonia Sotomayor, which I think was the one I was just talking about, had a very lengthy dissent, and she read from the whole dissent. She didn't read the whole dissent because it was like 39 pages, but she read a good portion of it, which normally is not done. And then she got done, and Alito was like, if I'd known you were going to do that, I would have actually read more of my majority opinion and highlighted some of the reasons why we made the decisions we did. He was pissed. So that's that one. Ketanji has her own dissents and some other,
Dissents and lack
but
of
that one
sense,
that I think you're thinking of is the Sonia Sotomayor one, which, by the way, yesterday was her birthday. So for her birthday, she got to have a hissy fit on the bench, So that was the first one. And then they had a second case that had to do with temporary protected status, specifically with regard to Syrians and Haitians. These were two combined cases. But basically, the first thing that they said, and again, it was a 6-3 decision, was, okay, no, the statute that allows for this basically prevents judicial review of most of this. Like, Congress specifically delegated this authority to the executive to determine who qualifies for and how long temporary protected status should endure. And it specifically in the statute says courts don't get to review this. So they basically kind of locked everything back into place and said, no, where it says courts can't review, you can't review. And as far as the constitutional claims that were included there, because the Haitians were saying that they were being discriminated against because of race, they were like, no, they were locking these policies in as to everybody. That includes multiple different races.
Right.
So we don't think it's likely you're going to succeed on that claim. So the bottom...
Yeah, I was going to say the bottom line is...
The bottom line is this. When the administration, any administration, current one, future ones, says, okay, we're going to grant temporary protected status for this group of people from this country, whatever, they have the ability to also then change and say, okay, the crisis is cleared, we're revoking the temporary protected status. The impact of that is huge here because there's such a huge Haitian population. There's some Syrian population, but I mean, this applies really across the board.
Right.
And this is going to have a major impact on a lot of immigrant communities where people who are here under temporary protected status, but they don't have other legal presence here.
Now, were a lot of those Haitians, did that come from the earthquake all those years ago? So it was like, okay, yeah, your entire village or whatever has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now things are good.
I don't think you can say things are good in Haiti.
Yeah. Well, I know, but now it's like the thing that caused
the immediate issue has resolved itself somewhat. Right. And the bottom line is the executive should have the ability to make the judgment call about when to cut that off.
So partly what the Supreme Court ruled is those in charge of immigration policy have the leeway to say we're going to our immigration permissions and I want to say it's not a right, but it's a permission. Our permissions can be based on what we need.
Yeah, we're making policy decisions that we're authorized to make, and you can't review those in the court and get them overturned.
Yeah. So while I think a lot of people are saying victory for the Trump administration and his policies, which is true, you're looking at essentially empowering and insulating future presidents who are allowed to say, we're going to make decisions based on what we need right now.
Correct. It doesn't just apply to this administration. It applies across the board. Yeah. What else applies across the board is that we are celebrating our 5th birthday as a station. NewsTalkSTL. It's going to be out at Frankie Martin's Garden tonight. Next to the Retro Nerds, they're going to be on the big stage playing. We've got a pavilion there. We want you guys to come out and help us celebrate. I know it's raining now, but I have every faith that it's going to clear out before then. Yeah. And all you have to do is come out between 7 and 10 and have fun with us at Frankie Martin's Garden.
It looks like this may blow through.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it'll be a little
and
wet.
It's there. But they're AstroTurf out there, so it's not like you're going to be walking in mud and stuff. I mean, so come on out and party with us tonight.
Yeah, 2 words: food trucks.
There you go.
News, analysis, opinion.
They're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
Tired of settling for generic fishing gear? Say hello to Bullseye Bait and Tackle, O'Fallon's one-stop shop for serious anglers. Live bait, premium tackle, rods, reels, and an unbeatable selection of lures from top brands like Megabass, Zoom, and Berkley. Whether you're after bass, catfish, crappie, or bluegill, they've got the gear to help you land the big one. Plus, their expert team, led by Mark and Liz, provides rod and reel repair services. Bullseye Bait and Tackle, 266 Fort Zumwalt Square, or at bullseyebaitandtackle.net.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
There's an old way to buy a mattress, and there's a new way. The old way, lay on a few mattresses, guess, and hope you got it right. The new way, at Snooze Mattress Company, we use dream mapping technology to measure your pressure points, alignment, and support needs before you buy. No guessing, no pressure, just a mattress matched to your body. And during our birthday celebration month, you'll find some of the best opportunities of the year to invest in better sleep. Experience the new way to buy a mattress at Snooze Mattress Company in Chesterfield. Because when you sleep better, everything gets better.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
All the men who fell on the plains and who lived through hardship and pain. America, America. And the men who could not fight in a war that didn't seem right. You let them come home, America.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Yeah, we do the playlist for Flashback Fridays, right? We still do that, right? Yeah, we do that.
It should be going up on the site, yeah.
Absolutely. I have not heard this song, I don't think, since the 70s or maybe early 80s or whenever.
Well, it was released in 84.
84,
so.
yeah. No, that's right. No, not 7, because it's Flashback Friday. Yeah, my gosh.
I don't know this song. I mean...
Waylon Jennings, America.
Yeah. It's not in my not in my memory banks.
You know who knows this song?
Who?
Nick Schroer.
Oh,
because it's
I bet he
Waylon
does.
Jennings.
Yes, you're right.
Yes.
You're right.
So you know that Nick was like, oh yeah, I know this one.
So yeah, I didn't get into country music until like more recently. So a lot of the old school stuff I'm not as familiar with.
See, and I'm just the opposite. I grew up listening to the old school stuff, and I haven't listened to anything for country music since.
Nope.
My daughter was a big, like, when pop country was like the big thing when she was little. So I heard a lot of what she was listening to.
Sure.
But no, when I've mentioned before, my dad was a Baptist preacher, very kind of strict household. For some reason, country music was allowed.
Okay.
Rock and roll was not.
Well,
but country was.
Country has that kind of
wholesomeness
to it.
So I grew up, we would watch Hee Haw until the girls in the crop tops and Daisy Dukes would come on. Then he would change the channel. And then but it was, I grew up like Buck Owens and Kenny Rogers and Ann Murray and the Mandrell sisters and Oak Ridge Boys and Statler Brothers and Charlie Pride and Glenn Campbell. That's the stuff I grew up listening to.
And some of that I was exposed to, definitely. I'm just laughing about the dad thing because my dad would have left it on the channel, but he would have done this little noise. Like that was his reaction to anything that was maybe even slightly off color or maybe a little bit racy. He'd be like, psh.
Yeah, no, we got the channel changed.
Nope. He'd still watch.
But then he'd want to come back because then you do the joke segments, which were pretty funny.
Were they as funny as AI?
Well, back then, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Chet could give it a run for its money.
Okay. I don't know. Should we inform people and stuff?
I guess.
I don't know. All right. 6:52 since we're news talking all. All right. So do they or don't they have to close early? There's been some confusion about what's happening in the Grove this weekend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Also, we are partying tonight, and we hope that you join us. Yes. I'm putting that in the news because this is news.
It is news.
And
good news.
That's right. And a Billiken gets an NBA contract.
Ooh.
Yeah, that happened. All right. 6:52 here. Let's go ahead and do a news dump.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by the Nutrition Stop.
The Morning News Dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the Morning News Dump.
It's just one of those Fridays already. I'm just like, we're giddy. We're just kind of
Yeah.
here already. All right. All right, here's what's going on. Okay, so some bars in the Grove say the mayor's declaration of midnight closures this weekend, that's not binding. Mayor Kara Spencer announced that bars would close early this weekend as a safety precaution during the annual Pride celebrations, which are massive in the Grove. Multiple people were shot after a fight broke out during last year's Pride events. So now both her office, the mayor's office, and several businesses admit that was a miscommunication, and not all of the business in that district agreed to shut down early. As it stands right now, the bars are being asked to close early, but there is no mandate to do so, despite what the mayor says or what she had said. She now admits that that was a misstatement and a miscommunication.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, this is, I'm sure, their biggest weekend of the year, probably. I would think.
I would think so.
But yeah, I didn't hand you all the news copy here.
No, I'm just winging it.
Yeah, and you're doing a darn good job of it as well.
I'm good like that.
That's right. Okay, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen was speaking at a committee hearing in Congress yesterday. This kind of blew up there. I don't have the clip you're thinking of. No, I don't have the one that you were thinking of. I actually have a substantive, policy one that he.
Oh, I love the one.
Oh, because he got into it with
Rosa.
Della Rosa.
Rosa DeLorio.
DeLorio, yeah, the purple-haired one. And so he was ended up talking about the U.S. southern border, saying, "Oh yeah, there's a reason we still have to seal that and stay vigilant."
There's not 1 inch of Mexico's northern border that isn't covered by a plaza. Plaza is cartels, 9 cartels that control it. And they have plaza centers, they call it plazas, that they have plaza bosses, and they're always looking for vulnerabilities to push human trafficking and drug trafficking across our border.
Okay, so President Trump signed what's called the Secure America Act, which is a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill, into law earlier this month. And though that bill funds ICE and Border Patrol through 2029, Democrats obviously threw a hissy fit over that bill, arguing that ICE and CBP were in serious need of reform after federal immigration officials ended up killing 2 Americans earlier this year who were essentially attacking police.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's federal law enforcement's fault, according to many people. All right, sir. What else is going on? Oh, Alligator Alcatraz. You remember Alligator Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's closed.
Closed.
Yeah, it's closed down. But there was a news conference about that. Border Czar Tom Homan was there, and he had a lot of nice things to say about Governor Ron DeSantis for his work with federal law enforcement.
This isn't end of relationship. This is a continuation. We'll continue to go out. We'll continue to enforce immigration laws. We can continue to prioritize public safety threats first. We'll make it clear. If you're in the country legally, you're not off the table.
Okay, so multiple reports say that decision to shut the facility down had a lot to do with the cost of keeping this going, which was like $1.2 billion. I mean, it was like a really expensive detention center.
Well, and my understanding was, it was never intended to be a permanent fixture anyway. It was like a temporary processing center to help them kind of like work through the process. So now they've got other options.
But we got to create a great song out of it. So if you go to our podcast and look up Alligator Alcatraz, we've got our song out there.
Gators Watch the Gate.
Gators Watch the Gate. That was the exclusive Mike Ferguson in the Morning News Talk STL song. All right. Don't forget that you are invited to our party tonight. All right, we're celebrating 5 years on the air here in St. Louis tonight at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. This is free. We'll be there from 7 until 10 p.m. If you want some food from the food trucks or the cash bar, bring something for that. But the party itself is free. Retro Nerds bringing their 80s tribute show to the stage. Look for us under the big pavilion. There's a main stage. It's where the Retro Nerds are going to be there. We're just going to have a lot of fun. Robbie Avila was not picked in the NBA draft, but he has signed a contract with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh.
Yep. Okay, so after being the Atlantic 10's Player of the Year this past season and leading SLU to an NCAA tournament spot, he has signed what's called an Exhibit 10 contract. So this is basically the most entry level, basically you got your foot in the door contract. It's a tryout opportunity for development, league play, and preseason workouts. So basically they're like, we don't know if you can make it at this level, but we're going to give you the opportunity to give it a shot. And we'll see what you do over the summer, and we'll see what you do in preseason. So Robbie Avila is going to be in the Lakers organization, at least to start.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
The Mosquito SWAT team is growing. We're looking for licensed 7A pest control technicians to join our Baldwin-based team. Learn more about this career opportunity at themosquitoswatteam.com. That's themosquitoswatteam.com.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the NewsTalk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is NewsTalk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. With thousands still unaccounted for, search and rescue crews are scrambling to locate people trapped beneath the debris of earthquake-shattered buildings in Venezuela.
They are working around the clock in rescue, trying to pull people from the rubble. These first hours are absolutely crucial, aren't they, to get to those voices that they can hear under the rubble. The Venezuelan emergency services are experienced in this area, actually. However, the last years of brain drain, of such a massive exodus of young people have impacted their ability to operate in emergency services. But look, they are working around the clock. They're attempting to reach those most affected in the state of La Guaira.
The BBC's Will Grant says the death toll has risen to 265. U.S. resources, equipment, and personnel are being dispatched to the scene, along with aid from many other countries. Australia's groundbreaking law that bans social media use by the under-16 crowd will be undergoing some tweaking.
What we want to do is to make sure that the laws are as strong as possible and that they will withstand any legal challenges which are made. These are not uncontroversial. When I say that, though, they're not controversial amongst the Australian public and amongst parents because they know that this is a world-leading ban.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, apparently the law not been quite as effective as initially hoped. 6-3 ruling by the Supreme Court clears the way for an end to temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Haitians living in the U.S. Russia says it intercepted 660 Ukrainian drones over a dozen Russian regions overnight, as well as over the illegally annexed territory of Crimea. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are down 44 points. NASDAQ futures off 366 points. Townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday, lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS. It's a brand new show on News Talk STL, JC's Sunday Showgram.
Why did the Today Show's Brian Gumbel get yanked off a St. Louis golf course this week in 1985? Then it's back to Collinsville and the ketchup bottle in 2000 when native Michael Stipe of REM got a little mixed up. Also, we fly over Busch Stadium with a banner that says, JC says the Mets are pound scum this week in 1987. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com.
Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for expert insured tree care and more in the greater St. Louis region and at the Lake of the Ozarks. Visit hansonstree.com for 24/7 emergency tree care, grinding and land clearing, awesome organic mulch, green resource recycling, and more. Tim Jones here to tell you that whether you're dealing with old man winter at your home or business in the St. Louis region or preparing your lake home for spring, call Hanson's to help you out. No job too big or too small. Mention News Talk STL. Receive 10% off all tree care services. hansonstree.com, hansonstree.com.
Mike Ferguson.
I listen to 80s music. I love Debbie Gibson.
Susie Moore.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, the Supreme Court hands down a pro-Second Amendment ruling. So how far is that decision going to reach?
Good question.
Yeah, very good question. We're now joined by Cam Edwards from our friends at BearingArms.com. And Cam, big day for those of us who are enthusiasts about our freedoms under the Second Amendment. Looked at your article here. Supreme Court stakes Hallwell's vampire rule. Yeah, Hawaii's. I'm sorry, Hawaii's. I'm looking at the. I'm like, what the heck was I talking about?
Josh Hawley under the mix here.
No, I know exactly. Yeah. All right. So Supreme Court stakes Hawaii's vampire rule. I need to have some more coffee. First of all, what the heck was a vampire rule? And the other part of this is that this was a big deal because it has to do with who's controlling property rights and who gets to make those decisions.
Absolutely. And it's also a big deal because of some of the things that the court said that stretch beyond just the facts of this case. So the vampire rule is, if you've ever watched horror movies, you know that vampires have to be invited in, right? They can't just fly into your house. You've got to invite a vampire in. Well, that's basically what Hawaii decided to do with concealed carry. They banned concealed carry by default on all private property that's open to the public and said that if property owners want to allow concealed carry, they have to explicitly invite gun owners inside the premises, right? This is one of a handful of states that adopted these vampire rules in the wake of the Bruin decision back in 2022. It was Hawaii, it was Maryland, New York, California. The courts had already enjoined the other states from enforcing their vampire rules. And so the Ninth Circuit actually said that Hawaii's was valid. The case goes up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says the 6-3 decision, no, it is not. Essentially that there is no national tradition of banning the exercise of a constitutional right by default on all private property and then telling the property owners, okay, you have to opt out of this, right? Now, property owners can still ban concealed carry. That doesn't change as a result of yesterday's decision, but they have to let people know. And I think a really good example of how this works in the real world, Justice Amy Coney Barrett had a concurring opinion yesterday in which she talked about, the alternative, takes the alternative into First Amendment standpoint. Could a state pass a law that bans the wearing of hijabs on private property open to the public unless the property owner says, hey, you can wear a hijab here, right? There's no way that would fly, or replace hijab with yarmulke or a crucifix. We don't lose our fundamental constitutional rights when we're out in public, when we're going about our daily lives, right? And if somebody wants to say that their property is gun-free, they can, but the default in a free society is that we're able to exercise our rights. And I think that's what the essence of the Supreme Court decision was yesterday.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask, because it was an opt-in, opt-out thing, as opposed to the government says the rules are you're not allowed to do this unless you opt out, basically. And so that basically comes down to the property owners have the property rights. And like you said, they can still say, we don't want your guns on my property. That's their that's their rule. But basically they're the ones deciding, not the government then.
Absolutely. Although in this case, Hawaii also has, a number of laws that deem particular places, including a lot of private property, sensitive, where concealed carry is also banned. So they mean what they really were trying to do is to make it impossible to carry a firearm in public. Right? That was the real goal of Hawaii here. And while yesterday's decision didn't touch on the specific gun-free zones like grocery stores, gas stations, things of that nature, the opinion did, I think, make it pretty clear that states are going to have a really hard time justifying outright bans on concealed carry on private property. They might have a little bit easier time saying, hey, listen, this is government property, so we get to decide what happens here. But with private property, I think if the lower courts actually adhere to what the Supreme Court said yesterday, it's going to be very difficult to uphold a lot of these gun-free zones that states put in place on private property by default.
Good morning, Cam. This is Susie. Any word on whether garlic will keep the guns out?
And I'm just saying that if the vampire is being played by Kate Beckinsale, I'm inviting her in. I'm just
That's true, right? And then we do have the werewolf rule, which means, you got to have a silver bullet. So.
Okay. Well, so that's going to be a whole different case. I did want to ask about this. I thought this was kind of an interesting twist because Hawaii was trying to make the argument that even though it is, of course, one of the 50 states, it's unique in its heritage. Yeah. And there are special cultural traditions that should somehow exempt it from the constitutional requirements. And it didn't seem like Justice Alito was buying that.
No, the spirit of aloha did not fare well at the Supreme Court yesterday. And for good reason. We actually saw, I've seen some other folks echo this, the community didn't want this. Okay. I mean, listen, I live in central Virginia. I live about 20 miles from where the bulk of the cases in Brown versus Board of Education originated. And that community didn't want to have integration.
Mm-hmm.
If the community wants a standard that violates the Constitution, that community is going to lose out. I mean, plain and simple, right? So, I don't think that argument was ever going to fare very well. The Hawaii Supreme Court actually articulated that argument, and I think it was a terrible decision by the Hawaii Supreme Court. And I think this was the Supreme Court's revenge yesterday, basically. Just pointing out the absurdity of that position, where communities, whether it be a city or a state, get to opt in or opt out, or whether or not the Constitution applies there.
We're visiting with Cam Edwards from BearingArms.com. Let me follow up on that real quick, because that is a mindset that we're seeing so much when we hear people yell about democracy, local control, and they're sort of bastardizing those thoughts, because essentially what I'm reading from the Supreme Court ruling on this and what you're describing, Cam, is that the Supreme Court says, no, these are individual rights and you do not get to violate those individual rights trump even a collective, maybe democratically voted sort of rule that the individual rights are going to reign supreme under the Constitution.
That's right. I mean, listen, the Constitution is the framework of government, and there is room to operate. I mean, there are going to be some gun laws that will be upheld, that'll be put in place by localities or states or even the federal government. But you've got to operate within that framework, right? And if you step outside of that framework, then now you're violating people's constitutional rights, and that can't stand no matter what level of government we're talking about here. I live in Virginia. They've got a gun and magazine ban law that's about to take effect next week, although an injunction was placed on it yesterday by a judge. So, I'm dealing with this right now, right? The state of Virginia is trying to ban commonly owned arms and magazines. Well, there's nothing in the Constitution that gives them the authority to do that. In fact, there are specific prescriptions in the Constitution that forbid them from doing that. So we're going to have to learn this lesson, I think, because there's the idea that, yes, we have liberty, we have freedom. Governments have powers, and governments don't have rights. I hate the phrase states' rights. States don't have rights. States have powers. And when they abuse those powers, it is up to the courts, the legislatures, to hold them to account. And that's what the Supreme Court did yesterday. Hawaii did not exercise its liberty to ban concealed carry almost everywhere. It abused its power to regulate the carrying of firearms, and the Supreme Court put them in check.
I wish we could have Cam teach civics to the rest of the country.
That was one of the best breakdowns I've ever heard of that.
Absolutely.
Because I have the same reaction. People say states' rights. No, government. No, that was one of the best ways I've ever heard it laid out, Cam.
Cam, I've obviously been keeping close tabs on these last Supreme Court decisions as we wind down the 2025 term, and I don't think there are any more 2A cases on this docket. Are there any coming up maybe next term that they've already agreed to take up?
They have not agreed to take up any for next term. We've got 5 cases dealing with either bans on so-called assault weapons or magazine bans that the Supreme Court has been hanging on to for months. Yesterday was the final conference of the term. We'll get the orders from that conference on Monday, so we'll see what happens there. And there are no more Second Amendment cases to be decided this term. But as I mentioned earlier, this case, which ostensibly is about the right to carry, there's some really interesting language in it where the majority opinion says, listen, the Second Amendment protects arms, and if you're looking to justify a particular gun law, if you're looking to try to uphold one, the test that must be used is, at the first step, does the activity implicate the plain text of the Second Amendment? Does it deal with the right of the people to keep and bear arms? And if so, then that law is presumptively unconstitutional, and it's up to the government to justify that law by pointing to text, history, and tradition, right? They've got to point to some analogous laws that were widespread, that were well known, and that were long lasting, essentially. And the Supreme Court, I think, was getting very explicit here because we've seen lower courts abuse this. You've got courts that say, I'm not going to look to see if there's a historical justification for banning the AR-15 because I'm just going to say that the AR-15 is not protected by the Second Amendment because it's like a machine gun. And the Supreme Court shut down that rationale entirely yesterday, and they were very explicit in doing so. So even though this is a right to carry case, I think that the courts provided some very explicit guidance to the lower courts about gun bans, magazine bans, and some of these issues that are percolating at the appellate court level, which is, I think, a great thing.
Cam Edwards from BearingArms.com. A lot of great coverage on there. You guys were kicking those out like crazy over the last 48 hours and 24 hours in particular, Cam. We've already tagged you on our social media. Any place else to connect with the work you do, or is it BearingArms.com is where people ought to go?
Yeah, BearingArms.com. Check out the Bearing Arms Cam and Company podcast, and you can follow me on X as well at Cam Edwards.
Hey, good talk to you again, Cam. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cam. All right. Should some of our friends on the left take some lessons from the visitors to the United States right now? Many of them are seeing the good in America that some Americans can't or won't see. And we're going to talk about that at 7:20.
All at once depart, no destination, making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now! I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
He picked the wrong schoolyard to come into, I have to tell you this.
On News Talk STL.
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
The story behind the story. A DC-10 crashes leaving Chicago, sending ripples of fear around the world.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo, and it's tough to pick, but my favorite sandwich at Capriotti's is the cheesesteak with a side of Cap's awesome fries. Visit Capriotti's now at 2 locations on Manchester at McKnight and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
News Talk STL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band. Live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the News Talk STL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com.
This is Kurt Barr, Director of Elections for St. Charles County, reminding you that your vote counts. Missouri's statewide primary is Tuesday, August 4th. This is the election that decides which candidates advance to the November ballot. If you want a say in who your party puts forward, August is when it happens, not November. Furthermore, in contests where one party does not have a candidate for November, then this vote is decisive of who will hold office. For official election information, visit sccmo.org/elections.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, your financial friend with Serenity Wealth Management. Tune in this Sunday. We've got special guest Danny Liston joining us in the studio for the Serenity Wealth Now show. Danny Liston with Mama's Pride, musician, local to St. Louis, and we're going to learn about the business that takes place behind rock and roll. Tune in this Sunday, Serenity Wealth Now social media outlets, or right here on News Talk STL. We'll see you then.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC. Hey, Colombo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Everywhere around the world, they come to America. Every time that flag's unfurled, they come into America. Got a dream to take them there. They come into America. Got a dream they come to share. They come into America.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
I kind of think this should be the national anthem. Maybe this is the best. Let's just replace the Star Spangled Banner.
Well,
with
between
Neil,
this and Sweet Caroline, it's
that's
like
true. Neil Diamond's got. Yeah,
he's kind of got it covered.
I loved this song as a kid. I mean, it's like fist in
It's
there.
cheesy, feel good music.
But at the time, it was like epic. It was inspiring.
I think it was even cheesy then, but in a lovable way. Like I mean, I don't know how you can not like this song.
Yeah, you know who hates this song? Communists.
Yeah.
7:21. All right. Along those lines here, Jerome had an idea. He goes, we're seeing a lot of these like the left wingers with the septum rings and all that sort of thing. I'm putting words in your mouth, but that's where you were going with it. It was like who just hate this country and it's so oppressive and terrible. And then you're comparing that with all these people in the U.S. who are here for the World Cup, looking around going, oh my goodness, this place rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's one of what that you found, Jerome.
I just moved to the suburbs from San Francisco. What really makes me feel unsafe here is the vast amount of American flags I see. I walked around and I saw so many American flags, and that makes me feel so unsafe.
There is people walking everywhere. There are women walking alone with fancy handbags, jewelry on, glasses on. They're not being harassed, nothing. Then, right here, you've got a park, clean and tidy. There's another bench, and it's not vandalized and broken and destroyed. You're completely safe. Completely safe.
Perspective.
Again, I didn't see the video that you grabbed, that one with the guys like, I feel so unself, but I feel like I know what he looks like. I just
willing to bet he drives a Prius. Just saying.
Overweight. Yep. He's from California. He's already in America. So you're in America.
It's California. I mean, it's
California. Yeah.
But
the other gentleman, I believe,
sort of.
Yeah, but the other gentleman was European, and he's in a. I don't know exactly which area he's in, but it's clearly like a big city area. It's it's not like a
yeah. I
private
mean,
gated community.
obviously, we do have areas with graffiti and broken benches and that sort of thing too, which is unfortunate. But there are plenty of beautiful places, and there are places where women can walk around on their own with their handbags over their shoulders and not feel like they are going to be, mauled, which is lovely, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but the fact that he was so amazed by that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's funny, like I was in, I don't know, was he up 2 or 3 years ago? I was in Brooklyn for a weekend, and I mean, I'm looking around the brownstones. I mean, this is New York, man. I mean, this is in there. This isn't Manhattan. This isn't the fancy area. And I'm walking around and I'm like, it's there are parts of New York, obviously, that are crazy violent.
Yeah.
But with Brooklyn, an older area.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, I'm like, this stuff was built 100 years ago. It's fine.
Yeah. I just
now I think they wanted to tax me for walking down the street, but that's a whole different thing.
That is a whole different thing. Yeah. I do want to think about, how far down how far over the edge, how far we've jumped the shark when your reaction to our country's flag is that it's a threat. The country that you were born and raised in and you are a citizen of, it's a threat.
Yeah, I feel unsafe.
Yeah, really? That's on you, buddy.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
All the needles that are out in the streets, all the crazy people roaming around California, all of that you're completely fine with, but the flag is, and I made sure that this wasn't like a troll. This was because they go on to talk about how that represents like nationalism, fascism, and it's like,
there's the door.
Yeah.
There's the door.
Speaking of the door, why did you leave San Francisco to go to the burbs?
Yeah.
What was it? Okay, why? And
that's a good point too, because we have a lot of migration in the country and people moving from deep blue districts to red districts and then saying, no, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Trying to change it to what they came from. It's like, well, you moved for a reason.
Right.
What do you think that is?
You left there for a reason.
Have you not drawn connected the dots yet?
No. They have not connected the stars and stripes yet. Okay,
that's impressive.
All right. That's right. Okay, so we are just over a week away from America's birthday.
Yay.
Yes. So everybody's got something to celebrate, right?
Yes.
Well, not everybody.
Right. You would think so.
You would think so. But all right, let's do this week's competition. Who gave the worst hot take of the week from the left from our friends at the Media Research Center?
But black people nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July.
I just bet she hangs out with a fun bunch, huh? But is that the worst media quote of the week?
It was, of course.
Here's our contenders. Option number 1. Chuck Todd believes people only think Obama was liberal because he's black.
What policy was he that liberal on, Chris? It's one of the biggest...
It was because he was black.
Thank you. The only reason people think he was liberal is because he's black.
Option number 2, Robin Roberts asks Obama how he deals with the promise of democracy now that Trump is taking away people's freedoms.
The museum really, it's about the promise of democracy. And it's very difficult for people right now when they feel a lot of their freedoms are being taken from them. How do you, when you see these things happening, how do you deal with that?
And option number 3, Joy Reid claims nobody black is excited about the 4th of July.
But black people nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown.
Well, you can get excited and vote for the worst. This poll is funded by our good friend James Jamiro. And be sure to check out Newsbusters on Monday to find out which member of the media snagged the title for the MRC's Worst Media Quote of the Week. It was, of course.
Okay, we got a pretty tough competition this week. I mean, normally there's like one that jumps out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I don't know. I don't know who was the actual worst on that one. That was all three are pretty tough. They made it tough on us this week.
They're tough contenders.
Yeah.
I would submit the first one is because it kind of stands apart because it's literally so dumb. Now, the fact that Joy Reid doesn't have any black associates or friends that think any differently than her is hardly surprising. It's the Pauline Kael syndrome. Everybody I know thinks this way. Well, yeah, that's because you're existing in a bubble. You don't ever challenge yourself. So that to me is just sort of like trademark Joy. And then Robin Roberts, her very somber, worrisome thing. Okay, whatever. It's the Obama Presidential Center. They're talking about that. It's kind of, again, par for the course. The idea that people thought Obama was liberal because he was black, as opposed to the fact that he ran as a liberal Democrat. What is that?
See, I just think that one's funny because it's such an ignorant thing to say.
So dumb. That's why it wins for me.
It's very dumb, but I do think that Robin Roberts takes the cake because what freedoms is President Trump taking away? Unless you consider the freedom to illegally cross through the borders, unless you consider the freedoms to scam welfare programs.
Okay, so deporting a bunch of people is taking away their freedoms because they're not free to live here in the United States.
No, but that's the beauty is that you're free to leave to go back home.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just trying to give you
You're trying to get into their mindset.
Argument.
Yeah.
Joy Reid, I agree with you. She's in an echo chamber. I'm not going to be surprised because I personally know black people that love 4th of July.
Yeah,
so it's like, okay, cool.
And a lot of them. And some who don't. Yeah. I mean, guess what? I know people who feel both ways. I'm not in a bubble.
So, yeah, Robin Roberts takes the cake for me.
Yeah, see, I'm leaning towards Robin Roberts, too. Because I think it wasn't even so much what she said as it was the way that she said it, as in we're going to just assume everybody understands that we're all being oppressed now because of Orange Man. Mm-hmm. And so we have to go to Black Man to explain to us, how do we deal with Orange Man?
Orange is the new black.
Orange is
Sorry.
You see, you say sorry, but I don't think you are.
It's just sometimes things pop into my brain and I just blurt them out.
It's Friday. All right. What do you all think? Let us know who you think the worst of the week was. So if you go to the MRC on Monday, they will publish the results of their poll. You can vote right there. I think we've already retweeted that. I
posted on the socials.
It's already up there as well. So the MRC. So we got two votes for Robin Roberts, and then the first vote, who was that? That was a Chuck Todd. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, but that's the thing. Chuck Todd and Joy Reid, it's almost like The View. It's like when they open their mouth, something really stupid's going to come out. Robin Roberts has her moments.
She does. Yeah.
And she had a great story when she came back from cancer.
She's not a nincompoop like Joy Reid is. No, not at all.
Yeah. Robin Roberts has about 20 IQ points on Joy Reid.
Easily.
Yeah.
Now, we understand some of you might be going out, getting ready for work, going to, I think school's out of session, but you might be driving somewhere, going on vacation. Point is at some point you might lose radio signal because we can only broadcast so far because the FCC is a killjoy. But if you download the free NewsTalkSTL app, you can bring us wherever you go, or if you're just kind of busy and you're not really in a political mood, we have a podcast. It's a Mike Ferguson in the Morning podcast that you can look on your favorite podcasting sites for. And if you're feeling really spicy, you can check out the replay of the stream, which we live stream to Rumble, YouTube, X, and Facebook. So no excuses. That's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Look for the replays.
Today, in the eye of the storm, in the eye of the storm, home to a new and a shiny place. Make our bed and we'll say our grace.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday, lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scott.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
I will admit that this next story put me over the edge. I got angry so fast when I first saw it. I am calmer now, but I'm still mad as hell. In Blue, New York City, a 5th grade teacher had an assignment for her students. They were to do a dance. Okay. But here's where I start getting angry. They were going to do a dance and then, using their individual imaginations, fall down as if shot to death. What is the value of this pantomime? There is none. But it gets worse. The kids are supposed to act as if they were shot dead by a police officer. A police officer. Are you listening? Are you listening? You don't have to be a child psychologist to see quickly how this could affect these kids now and into the future. Not bringing in a police officer to meet the kids and talk about how they help protect and serve, but to act like they were shot dead by a police officer. No sane teacher would even consider such a dance. But this is the progressive lunatic left. That's the lesson.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Spring weather has everyone sneezing, even inside their home or building. Instead of saying Gesundheit, call Wellington Environmental to perform air tests to determine if mold levels are too high. Gesundheit is the same as saying bless you after someone sneezes, the German word meaning wishing you good health. Wellington Environmental can perform air testing that is simple, fast, and can identify issues keeping you from having good health. Wellington does the same for hospitals and nursing homes for indoor concerns. Give them a call. It's simple. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. Tell Cindy, I need air sampling. They've seen it all. They can help you. Next time you hear Gesundheit, think Wellington. Wellington Environmental. Be well with Wellington.
Looking for a hardware store that treats you like family? Welcome to True Value Schneider's Hardware, your local gem in Old Town St. Peters. For over 100 years, we're proudly serve you St. Charles County, providing everything from lawn and garden supplies to plumbing and electrical. Need a bolt or fastener? We've got you covered. And don't forget, we're a steel dealership. Whether you need sales, parts, or service, ask for Charlie or Jerry when you come in. We're here to help. Call 636-278-4461 or visit us online at truevalue.com/Schneiders.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
America turns 250 this year.
Happy 250th birthday.
And News Talk STL turns 5.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, News Talk.
Here's to 250 years of freedom and 5 years of St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk. News Talk STL. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where to be?
It's Flashback Friday.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
I think we had about a good 8.5 on the Susie dance scale on that one.
That.
Now, you've seen Rocky IV, right?
Oh, of course.
One of the best scenes of the whole movie.
Yes.
Apollo Creed coming to the ring to this song, James Brown performing live. Awesome. This song is America.
This.
Right there. And then Apollo Creed gets killed by...
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
If
Spoiler.
he dies.
That's right.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. In case you haven't seen Rocky IV from 1989 or 88 or whatever that was. Let's just say it.
A little bit in the rearview mirror.
Just a bit. Yeah. All right. 7:37 right now. Hey, just another note. Man, I really hope you all can come out to our party tonight.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, because I know that
we're going to scare the clouds away.
Meteorologists are trying to scare us, with it, but we may get some rain. It may go around us and may just kind of blow through by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I mean, I don't know, but it's free. I mean, they've got food trucks in the cash bar if you want to go get something, but Retro Nerds are playing.
Being there is free.
What's that?
Being there is free.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we're going to be there. We're going to be hanging out the pavilion. Not a big to-do, not a big program, nothing.
No.
We're just going to hang out and say thank you for you all making us what we are, and hopefully us in return elevating your voices, not just around St. Louis, but around the country increasingly, but right here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. We're going to be there. Just come on out. Look for the pavilion. We're going to be under it. Look for the News Talk STL signage. On the stage, Retro Nerds doing the News Talk STL part of the party.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a great time. All right, 7:38 here. Weekend reminders. We're going into the weekend. Take a break and decompress over the weekend. At some point, do that. Seriously, do that. But make sure that you are well informed as we wrap up the week, and that is where redstate.com comes in handy. So, Susie, point us to some articles to check out today.
This is the Red State Rundown.
First up today on Red State from Nick Arama, unbelievable media headline about Dems' reaction to World Cup has jaws dropping. This is, of course, in response to the Politico headline, Democrats grapple uncomfortably with World Cup success. Kind of in keeping with the theme we've been covering all day today, the fact that the people on the left don't seem to know how to celebrate America or be happy for it in any way, shape, or form, even though people who are visiting from other countries are like, this is awesome. Yeah. This is kind of a reflection on where things stand with many on the left. This is a great story from Ben Smith, Coast Guard rescue swimmer who helped save 165 at Camp Mystic to receive Pat Tillman Award. Of course, remember a year ago was the tragic off the Guadalupe River in Texas Hill Country, and the Coast Guard, what was his name? Scott Ruskin, who helped save so many of those girls and campers, is getting an award. Perfectly appropriate. Great story. You should definitely check that out. This one from Sister Toldja, clown. Ro Khanna picks a fight with the wrong guy during House Select Committee on China hearing. We talked earlier about Mark Wayne Mullen. Well, this was a different hearing. It had to do with China. And Ro Khanna accused one of the witnesses of basically having anti-Chinese bias, basically being racist. The witness responds, yeah, my wife's Chinese and my 4 children are half Chinese. So you picked the wrong fight, buddy. Yeah, Ro kind of just stepping in it. And real quick, I just want to exercise a point of privilege because this weekend is also my handsome beau's birthday. So wishing a very happy birthday to David.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Happy birthday, David. All right. Okay, so 7:40 right now. Boy, I tell you, the juxtaposition between the people visiting here and some of those here. I mean, it's funny because the things that they're like going wild about is stuff that we're like, oh, that is cool, really? Wait, it was just because we're so normal. But then again, we walk around somewhere else like, this is amazing, and they're like, it's just the flower that grows here, dude. That's
right?
What what an exotic.
That's
bird.
why traveling is so important.
Yeah,
it gives you perspective. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, it's even like, of course, one little odd thing. I'm driving in like this morning about 3:15 or whatever it was. I actually saw a red fox in Maryland Heights.
What did it say?
I don't know what it says. I don't remember this. I remember the
Ring,
song.
ding, ding,
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Ding.
But it was like right there off of McKelvey as you head over to come around
They're
here.
pretty animals.
Yeah, very, very beautiful. It was like right in front of me. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness it was fast because
Yeah.
I didn't see it till the last second. But yeah, I mean, what was it? There was some folks from one of those videos. And what did they see? Oh, raccoons. They were like at an Airbnb. And the one guy that
Sean from Scotland.
Yes, Scotland. He somebody wanted to go out and pet them.
What is this? Can I take it home as a pet?
Yeah, it's like, can I go pet it? No, you can't pet the. No, it will mess you up.
They are awfully cute.
They really are. The
But they
trash
don't make good
pandas.
pets.
No. They are. But that's what's so funny is they're so amazing because they don't have them there.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We don't have healing coos, so.
That's true. I have seen them. I have patted one on the head. I did pat a Highland coo, which is how they say cow.
Healand coo.
Healing coo.
Is how
Yes,
they
that's
say
right. And I was in the Healands. I was in the Highlands. And it was they are very huge animals, by the way. Think of like a longhorn here.
Yeah.
That there's like that.
A long hair longhorn.
Very, very long hair, but very docile. Yeah, so I did get to see them. All right, another very fascinating week in the news all around. And this, here's kind of a recap of what it sounded like here on News Talk STL throughout the last week.
U.S. Park Police arresting multiple people for vandalizing the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial.
Anyone who was in a position of vandalizing or attempting to vandalize the reflecting pool will face the criminal justice system in D.C.
If you don't have a diplomatic path through the MOU, then you have to go to war or some other form of coercion. Let's try this.
Yeah, they unfroze some of them to keep Iran at the table, but guess what they're going to buy? They're going to buy American crops.
City police are urging people to not confront anybody who is setting off fireworks. Instead, call police.
These are emerging the full pro-Hamas wing. You know, a lot of these candidates that very likely are going to win tonight just declaring a war on just regular Democrats.
For some of these people, it might be one of the first things they've graduated before. And they're going to be walking across this stage ready to step on out and be productive members of our society, which starts in the home, right?
Let me just say this. Let me just say this.
If you would
Cut his mic off, please, because at this particular time, I said, no, you cannot speak.
The charter allows me to speak on topics, Madam Chair.
You have these 900-acre facilities, and they're taking farmland out. But when they're doing that, it's mostly targeting areas that don't have planning and zoning.
We have reclaimed our sovereignty, regained our liberty, restored our prosperity, and we have saved our country.
If we had to pick a soundbite of the week, it's got to be rid of her days against Sam Page.
Oh, yeah.
On that. That was
excellent.
I was on the phone with my mom yesterday, and she lives up in New Hampshire, but she listens in and watches in. And she's yeah, she was like, I was laughing out loud at those two politicians. You know,
it's funny hearing Sam Page be indignant, and Rita's just like not having it. Like, no, we're done. We're done here.
That's right.
Go, Rita.
My house, not your house. You know, and it was like almost like the tone of, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of this
pretty
world.
Pretty much. I'm going to be here after you're gone, buddy, so shut up.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, you look back and like every time we do this on a Friday, I'm like, wait, that was just a couple days ago?
I know.
There has been so much that's happened that.
Our good friend Ward Clark yesterday asked, he's like, is it just me or has it been slow this week? And I said, you mean like news-wise? And he said, yeah. And I said, that's only by, like, it's all relative. Like, this is not a slow news week. Just compared to, like, Hair on Fire, you know, everything to, you know, DEFCON 1, this is what we're used to. This has actually been a busy news week.
Yeah, at least here in St. Louis.
All around, really.
All around, yeah. There's been a lot going on here.
Yeah. Well, something else going on is a Billiken is getting a chance to prove himself in the NBA. We've got that story in the news dump at 7:50.
All night diners keep you awake on back on that and a hard roll. You might have to walk by night, you might take a hard night, but everybody's working overtime.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey, Highway 94 in St. Charles, on Westwood in Weldon Spring, and on Brendel in Rocky Mount. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I love that mountain with those 4 big heads. I love Velveeta slapped on Wonder Bread. I love a commie if it is good and dead. Yeah. I love Old Glory and homemade pie. I think them Ruskies should be sterilized. I love my chicken Kentucky fried. Finger leg and good. Hey there, this is A.D. Cooper from Cooper's Carnival of Clean and Classic Cars. It's our 4th of July sale here at Cooper's Carnival of Clean and Classic Cars at the corner of Collins and Common. I got a lot full of the finest wonder little cars money can buy at the prices even you can afford. So come on down and say hello to me and Granny and bring the kids to meet my snake. I say bye, Granny says bye, and the snake says, I love General Patton in World War II, my pocket fisherman and my crazy glue. I love the Beav and Wally too, yeah! I love the bomb, hot dogs, and mustard.
The Mike Ferguson Show is one of my favorite programs. In addition to Larry Connor's USA, catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
These requests have been so much fun.
What is that?
Alice Cooper. I love America.
Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. I like the hot dogs and mustard, though.
That's right. All right, 7:49 right now. All right, do they or don't they have to close early? There's been some confusion about what's happening in the Grove this weekend. Also, we are partying tonight.
Yes.
And you're invited. And I hope you come out to party with us. And a Billiken gets an NBA contract. 7:49 right now. Let's do another news dump.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by STL Fenceworks.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
And away we go. All right, some bars in the Grove say the mayor's declaration of midnight closures this weekend, not binding and probably not happening. Mayor Kara Spencer announced that bars would close early this weekend as a safety precaution during the annual Pride celebrations. Multiple people, remember, were shot after a fight broke out during last year's Pride events. Okay, so here's what's going on. Now, both her office and several businesses admit that was a miscommunication. Whoops. And not all of the businesses in that district agreed to shut down early because it was presented as we've come to this agreement and it's sort of an executive order-esque thing. It turns out that's not what happened. As it stands right now, the bars are being asked to close early on Saturday and Sunday in particular, but there is no mandate to do so, with probably the biggest weekend of that area's business of the year.
Yeah.
My guess is they are not shutting down at midnight.
No. I mean, that's just bad business sense. I'm really surprised by Kara Spencer on that one, though, because A, this is an issue that's important to her, and B, she's usually a pretty good communicator.
Yeah, this is a rare unforced error.
Yeah.
On her part.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could understand her expressing the wish that they would do that to help counter the possibilities, the risks there. But to say like it's a done deal without having really.
And remember when she did the press conference, the police department went, huh? What? Yeah. Hold on. What? We didn't. Can we get a heads up on these things?
Right.
So yeah, that was not a good week for Kara.
No.
Yeah, but normally she's on top of the communications at least. I mean, you can agree or disagree with what she does, but yeah, she's usually on top of that. So my guess is that they're just going to have their party the way they always do.
I think so. Just
guess.
be safe, people. Don't be crazy. Don't shoot people.
Yeah, please. Rule number 1.
It's pretty basic.
Please don't shoot people.
Yeah.
Can we start there?
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
It's fair.
Just saying. All right. Let's see here. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen testified on Thursday before a House Appropriations Subcommittee, and they were talking about DHS operations and funding. Secretary Mullen highlighting the importance of securing the U.S. southern border from cartels and saying that the country still needs to be vigilant.
There's not 1 inch of Mexico's northern border that isn't covered by a plaza. Plaza is cartels, 9 cartels that control it. And they have plaza centers, they call it plazas, that they have plaza bosses, and they're always looking for vulnerabilities to push human trafficking and drug trafficking across our border.
Okay, now President Trump, as you probably know, signed what's called the Secure America Act. That's a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill into law earlier this month. That bill funds immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol through 2029.
And can we just point people to the lovely exchange between Secretary Mullen and Rosa DeLauro yesterday? We did write an article about it at Red State.
Yeah.
They got into it. She was pointing her finger at him, and he was saying, "Don't point your finger at me." And she said, "I will point my finger at you." And finally, it was one of those things where she said something to him like, "You should be put in your place." And he said, "You should be put in your place." It was awesome.
So basically, it was a very high level. I know you are, but what am I?
But it was glorious.
It's always colorful when she gets involved. And I'm not just talking about her purple hair. But yeah,
colorful figuratively and literally.
Precisely. Yep. Okay, here's an odd one. This was an odd one. I don't know if you heard about this, Susie. A St. Louis Fire Department EMT gets a ticket for driving without a valid license. Okay, that happens. But not a big news story. Not a big deal. Except for the fact that she was driving an ambulance that was involved in a crash at the time.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so Channel 4 has this story on their website about this whole thing. The EMT's name is Katrina Hopper, and the department and she both say they believe her license is valid, even though there have been 2 holds put on that license by a judge in unresolved traffic cases.
So this isn't like a mix-up where someone has the wrong person.
No.
She's got some traffic issues.
Right.
That's a problem.
Matter of fact, KMOV found over a dozen traffic cases against her since 2019. Everything from driving on the wrong side of the road to speeding to tags, not having the tags up to date, which, by the way, is a way of life here in St. Louis. Stop messing with our tradition.
That one I forgive.
I saw a tag yesterday at the red light that was from 2023. And I'm like, that's a St. Louisan right there.
So she's driving an emergency vehicle and crashing it.
Yeah, now that wasn't her. I don't think that was her fault because she had
Allegedly.
the lights. She had the lights and siren on, going to a call, and she went into an intersection, and then they collided with another car. And my understanding is by law, those lights and sirens are on. You stop. It's on
Well,
you.
definitely
to
has the
them.
right of way. Yeah.
But, so I don't think that was her fault. But while they're doing all the paperwork, they're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be driving, right?"
That's not good.
And she's like, "No, it's valid. Do your research." And
I think they did. It sounds like they did.
Yeah. So that's a weird situation there. All right. Don't forget, you are invited to our party tonight. Yep. We are celebrating 5 years on the air here in St. Louis at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. It is free. We're going to be there from 7 until at least 10 p.m. The Retro Nerds are bringing their 80s tribute show to the stage. Look for us under the pavilion. Yes, we got a roof over our heads, so for some sprinkles, we'll be fine. Although there's a chance that the rain's going to move through before
I'm willing it to.
If it even hits us at all, we'll see what happens. But the stage, Retro Nerds, look for all the News Talk stuff. No big formal thing, no politics. We're just going to have some fun.
Fun is the order of the day.
I'm bringing some cash because they got food trucks.
All right.
I'm just saying. Barbara from Nutrition Stuff, she's like, "I'm watching you. What are you going to be eating?"
I was going to say, he's busting himself
that's
here.
That's right. I know. I realized I just did. You go. I'm just saying here. Oh, my goodness. All right. What else we got going? Oh, you just teased this a few minutes ago here. Robbie Avila from the Slewbillikens. He was actually not picked in the NBA draft, but he has signed a contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, remember, Robbie Avila was the Atlantic 10's Player of the Year this past season. He led SLU to an NCAA tournament spot. He has signed what they're calling an Exhibition 10 contract. I'd never heard of that before.
No.
But what that actually means is it is a basic entry level. You get a tryout opportunity. So you get the league minimum salary. He's going to play in the development leagues. He gets to go to the preseason camp, and he gets to try to prove himself. So he gets a shot at the NBA, and if the Lakers don't bring him onto their roster, then he's at least there to where they could trade for him or he could get offered something by another team. So the bottom line is he gets his chance to prove himself at the NBA level. So we're saying there is a chance, and he's going to make his run for it here starting in the next month or so. And
Robbie.
If that doesn't work out, then there's probably a European league that'll make him a massive star out there. But one way or the other, he's going to continue his career playing basketball and also be a model for those nerdy glasses that he wears on the court.
There's that.
Yeah, there's that. All right, Cardinals and Diamondbacks were rained out Thursday. That game is going to be made up later in the season. Homestand continues tonight when the Cardinals host the Marlins. First pitch at Busch Stadium, 7:15. This is another one that's going to be on the air. This is going to be on Channel 4. So it's going to be available to everybody. So watch it on your phone while you're partying with us in Cottleville at Frankie Martin's Garden, because that's more important.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet. I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, "Government is not the solution, government is the problem." When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the free market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. They are shell-shocked. Many survivors of the devastating earthquakes in Venezuela have no place to go. Their homes either reduced to rubble or heavily damaged by the powerful quakes, one coming right on top of the other. First responders continue the desperate search for survivors amid the debris. They are finding some, along with the bodies of victims. Amid the death and destruction, President Trump is touting much improved relations with Venezuela, making it easier for the U.S. to help.
We have the strongest military. We took over Venezuela in less than one day, and the oil is flowing, and we're getting along with them great. We're going to, by the way, help them with they had a tremendous earthquake last night that you read about, massive in Caracas. But we're going to help them out.
The death toll has risen to 589, several thousand people injured, thousands still unaccounted for. wave the white flag of surrender. Ukraine having none of it.
The Russian Defense Ministry says it's intercepted 660 Ukrainian drones overnight over 12 Russian regions, as well as the illegally annexed Crimea, the Azov, and the Black Sea. It appears to be one of the biggest drone attacks on Russian regions and the annexed Crimea since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in recent months. Ukraine stepped up its aerial campaign against Russian military installations and energy facilities. Its success has caused fuel shortages and disrupted army supply lines, stalling Moscow's war efforts after more than 4 years of fighting. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Looks like people in parts of Central Europe will be getting what their neighbors in the West have been suffering through for days now. That record-breaking heat wave that's sending the mercury soaring in England, France, Spain, Portugal is drifting to the east. Dow futures are down 135 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Healthcare has become frustrating, expensive, and overwhelming. But you can stop playing by those rules. There's a better way. It's called Crowd Health, and it's changing how people pay for healthcare. Crowd Health is a community where members, the crowd, come together to help fund each other's medical expenses. Instead of paying huge monthly insurance premiums, you pay a simple membership fee plus a modest contribution to another member's medical bill. When you get hit with a big bill, the crowd steps in to help you fund it. Plus, you get the support and tools you need to navigate your health event. Why keep overpaying? Cut out the middleman, lower your monthly costs, and avoid the endless billing headaches. Are you ready for a smarter option? Go to joincrowdhealth.com. Right now, you can get started for just $99 per month for your first 3 months when you use code BREAKFREE at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health isn't insurance. Opt out of the flawed system and break free.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
U.S. Senate Republicans have rejected the Iran War Powers Resolution after clashing with Trump. We'll ask Congressman Dr. Bob Onder what the heck's going on at 420.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Susie Moore.
Get out of here and stop playing victim.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
We have federal regulations that prohibit hunting duck, and yet it's legal to hunt humans.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, the big party's tonight, but that's not the only party.
It is
that's
not.
happening. No. You want to hang out. There's a celebration tomorrow as well. I talk about nutrition stuff all the time.
You do.
I do, and it's funny because even the other day, guys who have see me regularly on the baseball field and everything, I still get that. Okay, what are you doing? I still get that question, and there were guys I hadn't seen in a long time, and I'll run into them, I'll play against the game, and that's what I get all the time. And I keep telling them, yeah, I'm lifting, heavier weights and I'm doing the workouts, but it really, what matters is what you're putting into your body. Barbara Mustone from Nutrition Stop is here with us.
Hello.
We got the big party tomorrow. I say we because Ryan and you were nice enough to say, hey, come on out with us. So I'm going to hang out with you tomorrow.
So excited to have you.
Noon to 3. Let's talk about what's happening tomorrow, then get into the cool stuff behind it. So this is again just a free thing. You're going to be cooking out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And rain or shine.
Yes. So the store is turned 40 years old this year, which we're so grateful for. And we took over 5 years ago, so we're celebrating our 5 years there as well. And we have always had a barbecue every summer because we are super proud of our meat. As you know, you love our meat as well. So we've been to the farms and met them and seen those regenerative practices and the grass-fed, grass-finished, all of the things. So we love to have that, giving back to the community because you guys are what keep us in business. So we're super grateful for that. But because it's 40 years, we're blowing it out of the water. So yes, we're having special guests like you. We're gonna have live music. We'll have chair massages, so many samples. Our big thing this year that we're doing is raffles. So we've got hundreds of dollars worth of raffle prizes. So come out and get your name in there and walk away with supplements and body care and food and
Yeah, this is obviously where I get all my supplements, and I get a lot of my groceries, here as well. But you talked about because when I don't remember if it was you or Ryan that was on one time before, and he mentioned, some of the grocery aspect of it, and there were people who say, okay, well, where does this come from? And Ryan was like, oh yeah, this farmer from here, and you all know them because it makes a huge difference. I mean, everything has to go from one thing, point A to point B, to get to you.
Yes.
However, the way they do that makes a huge difference. And you're selling, like, for instance, I love the bison. I'm always getting the bison from you. The ground bison is my favorite. I just make them into like patties and
that's
that
what we'll be cooking up tomorrow.
Yeah. And but you can get some from the bigger chain places, but there's processing stuff that goes into there that you don't have added into yours.
Absolutely. Yes. So like you said, like knowing our farmer is not only just a really lovely way to see them, and a lot of them are hand delivering it right to our store, which is still awesome. But yeah, we see the practices, like we pet the animals, like we see what they're eating, and even, that processing and how they're leaving their bodies and becoming food for us is a really beautiful process to make sure that there's no extra stress or extra, medicines or anything like that that's going to impact our health.
Okay, so talk about, there's always been this sort of community of like fitness and fads, and somebody's got a new supplement and try this new chemical, and hey, here's a new shot, and for some reason people don't learn their lesson. You remember when Fen was just a massive thing, and or Alestra and all these things, and people rush to it. It's going to be the next great thing, and then inevitably 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, it's like, oh, that's not bad. It's causing you to grow a third eyeball and a horn out of the back of your head. So
but we've
maybe
got a pill for that too.
we didn't. Yeah, we got a pill for that. We didn't think that one through. But this next one being pushed on you by Big Farm or whatever the case is comes through, and it's what I've enjoyed so much is this is so back to basics.
Yes,
and it is. There's a wave of it now, I think, that we haven't seen before. And I know that, some of that's going to be just reaction to, some of the COVID stuff, and some of it's going to be, the policy and politics and the Maha stuff and all that. And I'm not getting interested in the politics of it.
No, but that's great that people are having more awareness. That's
right.
Awesome.
And so, and that's one of the things I was encouraging people to say, listen, go look at what's going into your body. I mean, and I was doing that before because I had to change my line of thinking when I was 40 years old. And I had a heart attack that almost killed me. I was in the hospital for several days. I was doing all of this like really heavy weightlifting, thinking that, man, I am killing it. I'm being healthy. I'm going to reward myself by getting the number 7 platter at the Mexican restaurant 4 times a week. And then wondered why I had a problem. And I was only 40 years old and barely made it through. And at that point, I'm like, I got to get serious about this. At the time, I was a single parent. I had 2 little kids and everything. And so now I'm stronger and healthier than I've been in years.
Great,
and a huge part of that is working with you all, because remember, we first started working together 2-3 years ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I would come in and say, okay, well, here's the supplements I'm using. And they weren't bad. Right. But you and I looked at the thing and you're like, okay, do you know what that is? I'm like, I can't even pronounce that.
Exactly.
You're like, yeah, that's the point, dummy. And so I've switched over to the stuff that you all have, and my body's reacted in such a great way.
Wonderful.
And that doesn't mean that the same thing I take is going to have the same effect on somebody else, but there's something else there. Talk about that for a second.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to just dial back a second. 1986, Patrick and Teresa Mulhern started this business. So we would not be here today without them. And their platform was education. And so we have continued that and love that, because we're not doctors and we're not here to tell you how to live your life. And like you said, what protein works great for you might not work for me. So absolutely turning over the labels, reading those ingredients, finding out how our body works. Because unfortunately, we're not taught this in our educational system, and just figuring it out for you and how to make good choices all day, every day is what we're about. And all of our staff that comes, when you walk in the door, we know our customers by name and they know us and they share everything with us. And we just want to continue to be that beacon of people who maybe have tried conventional methods and it didn't work for them, or, had a heart attack, or, and people coming in and walking out with a smile on their face and hope and, wow, I feel so much better, is why we come into work every day.
So let me also mention something that you're probably not going to, but I'm going to pull the curtain back just a little bit, just because I know you all so well, is that when you say education and teaching, this isn't a matter of somebody loves a product, they get in there and they start selling. You're sending your folks to conferences, continuing education. We're talking about they're going to get specific nutrition, high-level training on this. This isn't like, hey, we need somebody to run the cash register. And No. You guys are going out of your way and spending a lot of money to make sure that everybody there has a deep understanding of this stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Because, there's a lot of, unfortunately, supplement companies out there that are not, 100% good. So we want to make sure that we're not just putting plastic bottles on shelves. Like, this is health. Food is our medicine. And there's these supplements that are there for a reason, because our food is depleted from this nutrition. And so we got to make sure that we're getting the best things. And if we wouldn't put it in our own family's bodies, then we're not going to put it on our shelves and sell it to people.
Yeah, in the bodies or on the bodies, which is something that I never thought of until Ryan, your husband Ryan, was telling me, about the stuff like, stuff like deodorant. Stuff like, because you can go to the dollar store and get some deodorant and whatever for 99 cents. And you're like, well, that's a much better deal. Or I can spend an extra couple bucks and not put a bunch of chemicals into my endocrine system.
Yes. Yep. So there's like the aluminum that's been attached to Alzheimer's. But then, the microplastics are just in everything. Endocrine disruptors, which our endocrine system is responsible for all of our hormones, which is related to all of our other organs. So something as simple as a 99-cent daily deodorant that we're doing can absolutely change your whole life. Yes. Your toothpaste, your shampoo, what you're wiping your counters down with, all of it.
40 years. Not many standalone brick and mortar businesses make it 40 years.
Yeah.
So what's been different about what you all do? Because you've withstood all kinds of competition from national chains and all that kind of stuff.
They're surrounding us all the way around.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say our customer service, making sure that we're getting that concierge service and people are being listened to and we know them and that we're helping them. But that education piece, the community events has been my baby. So we've had hundreds of events over the last 5 years. We do yoga, we have breath work, we do fermentation classes. We have professionals, the healthcare professionals that come in and do classes. You were there for one last month. Just continuing to have this to be a community center and not just another store.
Which, let me again point this out here. You've got a large part of your square footage that you could have shelves and selling stuff that you don't have anything on, and it's because you have these classes. And I was at a little mini concert at one point.
Yeah,
there was some live music out there several months ago, actually.
Yeah, it was like the last fall. Yeah, we have live music. We just have parties. We just love to get together with our vendors and bring everybody in, have indoor farmers markets, just as much as we can, bring that community together and have that whole lifestyle where it's not just a pill.
Right. So tomorrow, noon to 3.
Yes.
That is the big barbecue bash 40th anniversary party.
Yes.
Live music, cookouts, food samples, things like that.
So much food. Yes. Yeah. Come hungry, bring your friends. Yeah.
That's right. And obviously no ticket cost or anything like that. No. Come on out and enjoy. Any like promotions or anything going on in the stores?
We have like our regular sales that are going on all the time, but then we'll have lots of vendors there as well that are going to be sampling out their things and just a good time. Nobody's going to walk away empty-handed for sure. You're going to get lots of free stuff.
And I have to restock on some stuff. I need to, because I'm almost out of 3 or 4 things.
That's right.
And vitamins. Somebody asked about vitamins because a lot of people think, I can get vitamins at the Again, I've seen people buy vitamins at the dollar store. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But you know, and
Who
so
knows what that is?
and so, but yeah, I mean, vitamins deals on that obviously.
Yeah, we've always got sales and promotions running. Yes, and like I said, the raffle. So if you spend $25, then you get a ticket to put in a raffle. If you spend $100, then you get 4 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving away a whole water filtration system because water is one of our key components of our health. And then just so many supplements for giving away. So come, if you spend a little money, then you're going to get tons back.
But if you decide just to check it out and hang out, that's cool too.
So much food. I'm not even kidding. So much food. Yes. I don't know how to throw a small party.
All right. And the website, nutritionstop.com, you can look at a lot of stuff. But I keep telling people, go in, ask questions, because that's what I did. I truly feel like I know so much more just because of you and your team out there. And I get people mentioning it to me, when they see me.
Yes. And then I think that's why we've been around for 40 years.
Yeah.
You telling your friends and your family and you feeling better and you looking better,
I'm trying.
Keep doing it.
Considering what you're working with here. I mean, you had a pretty low bar to start with.
No.
All right, Barbara, thanks so much.
Thank
It'll be
you
fun.
so much.
I will see you tomorrow right around noon.
Yes,
I'm going to
thanks
be
so
there.
much.
And everybody else, come on out. I'm going to be there as well. And just lots of food. The bison's amazing.
Yes. Delicious. Thank you so much. See you at the stop.
Thanks. Thank you, Barbara. All right. Let's talk about these World Cup visitors that are happening. It's so much fun to watch them. Now, Barbara, close your ears for a second, because they are loving our comfort food. Now, then they should probably go to Nutrition Stop as well after they eat the ranch dressing. But the things in America that they are so impressed with, I think there's a lot of myths about America that are getting busted around the world. Let's chat about that right around 8:21.
Information, you want to take the place of what I trust. Turn on your colored box, you look for some answers. For false impressions, well, baby, they will last forever. Stop right now! I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
This is like giving you a bowl of doggy do, put a cherry on top, and call it a chocolate sundae.
On Newstalk STL.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering from Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
America's 250th birthday is almost here, and there's only one place to make it unforgettable. Brilliant Skies Fireworks, where the deals are big and the booms are bigger. Come see Todd and Ed, veteran fireworks show designers and shooters who know how to light up a sky. They'll point you to exactly what you need for the most bang for your buck, with friendly service and some of the lowest prices around. 949 Montebello Road in Imperial. Mention Newstalk STL and get a free gift while supplies last.
Bengal's restaurant offers an inviting atmosphere, neighborly service, and a vibrant happy hour scene, all in the heart of Warson Woods. From their kitchen to your plates, beloved comfort favorites like chicken parmesan and lasagna to steakhouse-style classics. Slide up to the vintage bar or hit the patio for happy hour specials every Tuesday through Friday. Bengal's Restaurant and Bar, 10017 Manchester Road. Check out the menu and reserve a table online at bengalsrestaurant.com.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
Newstalk STL. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Harley Davidson and RCA. They ain't perfect, but they still say made in the USA. I'm so proud. I make it loud in a crowd.
Hey, Chris Arps from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know that I've ever heard this song before.
Did I find one?
You may have found one that stumped me.
I found an 80s song that Mike Ferguson's never heard before.
Don't think I know this one.
This is the Wright Brothers.
Okay.
Made in the USA.
I think you got me on this one. Whoever sent that in, I think you got me.
Wow. I am impressed. Yeah,
There it is.
1985 or 1986.
Okay. I mean, hey, that's about as American as you get.
Yeah. Wow. I have to pet myself. This is mine.
This was yours. Okay.
My grandfather had some CDs, and he loved like really patriotic songs when I was growing up. So this one's kind of for him. But
Nice.
So I pet myself.
There
on the
you
back.
go.
I did good.
Way to go. Way to go. It's kind of funny how like Stump Mike on the 80s stuff has become such a thing. And I'm like, am I that much of a nerd about like 80s songs? And apparently the answer is yes.
And thinking back, I also stumped you on a Devo song, of all things.
That's right.
That was okay. So I got two.
You
That's
got
incredible.
two. That's right.
The guy that wasn't even around for the 80s got Mike twice.
That's right. Got me twice. All right. 8:21 going on 8:22 here. I love these videos where even before the World Cup, there were some videos that would show up on my reels. And it is like this prep school in England. And all these, junior high and high school boys are in their, blazers and their matching ties and everything. And they're just like, here is some American food, try it. And then, of course, they sit there with their accents and everything. And then they try it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because half the time they'll look at it and like, that looks horrible. And they'll take a bite, you see them light up, and they're like, that is lovely. That is brilliant.
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah, that's, and so, and so you see that, well, now you've got troves of people from all over the world in the United States for the World Cup. I think it's accurate to say millions of people into the U.S. There may be a couple million people visiting the U.S. because we don't actually understand how big the World Cup is. I've talked about it, I mentioned saying this really is the biggest sports event in the world, bigger than the Olympics. And because soccer is kind of a second-tier thing, but globally, this is the thing, and we have it, and it's going to result in tens, hundreds of billions of dollars in spending. But one of the side things about it is all of these people from around the world doing their TikToks and their Instagrams and their Facebook Reels and all of that, just documenting their experiences with the United States, because depending on where you are around the world, our reputation is wild.
Mm-hmm.
There are places around the world, like in Europe and stuff, where they just assume that you walk out the door and you have to like duck because everybody's shooting at each other to get to your car, and so that's what they think. Or in other cases, they think we're just a big, prairie where nobody is anywhere, or you're in, a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding out a lot of the realities of what's happening in the U.S. And we do in News Talk sometimes find ourselves gravitating towards the bad news, the salacious news. And I get caught up in that. I do that. And sometimes I have to check myself on that. I try to intentionally not do the blood and guts stuff. Listen, when I was a journalist, we covered that stuff back in the 90s. That is what you did. If it bleeds, it leads. And I cut my teeth in the news business in that not so great era of news, And so I get that, but we sometimes don't step back and go, there are some great things about the country that everybody should be able to agree on. And then we can fight about the policy. We can fight about the politics. We can fight about, preserving culture. We can still do those things, and we should. But every once in a while you go, there are some things that are just cool here. And you had this idea, Jerome had this idea. He goes, what if I took a bunch of those like left-wing dingbats who were going on social media and talking about how horrible everything is there in America, and then just pair it with some of these visitors from around the world. I'm like, that is awesome. Let's do that. So here's one of them that you found. Here's one of those juxtapositions.
What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom? I've lost all hope in the American people.
I love America. I've been here for 3 days, and everything's just amazing. There's nothing like this in the UK. This is actually beautiful.
Okay, so there's no shortage of these, right? I mean, they're out there everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And so we can probably do like one or two of these each of the days we're on the air live next week.
I quite literally have almost a dozen of these cut by now.
Yeah, I don't have enough time for all of those, but we'll try to work in as many of them because I think it's funny, but I think it also tells a story.
Yes.
And that's a story that we need to hear probably more so than the rest of the world.
And that was something that jumped out at me when I first had the idea. I thought it was just going to be a little fun, like, haha, this is kind of cute. But because a lot of these clips come from very much longer, like, 5-minute, 4-minute rants and ravings versus people going about, like, here's my entire day in America. And so one of the things that stepped out is that the people that are complaining about America and how bad evil we are, it's not the people that are in some of the more dangerous, O block of Chicago, parts of St. Louis with, stuff like that. These are people that, for all intents and purposes, live in very nice areas in the United States that they really don't have an excuse of why their life is so miserable. The Europeans are coming over here and they are just like stunned that they can't imagine. And again, most of the world cannot imagine.
Or the South Americans or any,
yeah. But like everybody from the soccer the soccer fans that are here, they are just absolutely blown away by like this is nothing like what we've been told what it's actually going to be like here. And it's just I don't know. It's like you can't hear somebody appreciate America and then not feel like wow, how lucky and privileged am I to be able to live here full time.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that we don't have problems and we don't have things we have to defend. We don't have things we have to defeat. We don't have things that are worth getting angry over. But in the end, why? Well, because we do have it pretty good and we want to make it the best we possibly can make it. So here's another one that we found, or you found a little bit earlier here.
I just moved to the suburbs from San Francisco. What really makes me feel unsafe here is the vast amount of American flags I see. I walked around and I saw so many American flags, and that makes me feel so unsafe.
There is people walking everywhere. There are women walking alone with fancy handbags, jewelry on, glasses on. They're not being harassed, nothing. Then, right here, you've got a park, clean and tidy. There's another bench, and it's not vandalized and broken and destroyed. You're completely safe. Completely safe.
No, not that you're safe everywhere in America, but when I was in Europe and when I've been in the Bahamas, I've had locals go, hey, don't go there. Just stay away from there, that sort of thing. Everybody's got that. But the perception around the world is something that's getting shaken to its core in some areas, because not only are they putting this on their social media, but all of their friends and family going, wait a minute, well, we thought it was this. And so maybe we should also look back and go, well, wait a minute, I thought America was just this. Maybe that one politician getting elected isn't going to end civilization as we know it.
So, and Scooter makes a point that I think is actually really well established here. So what he's saying is President Trump has not helped our reputation around the world, unfortunately. But when you see things like this, and I've got a lot of clips of people from Japan and from other parts of the Europe and parts of South America, they're saying, I just can't believe how polite and nice and warming. So it's not up to President Trump to rehabilitate our image. We are doing good just by being who we are and being welcoming and accommodating and being polite. So that is doing a lot more to rehabilitate our image to these people than anything that we could have possibly put on, televised media.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who say, you know how they are in that country. Well, have you ever been there? No. Well, then how do you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you met the tourists, the ugly Americans abroad, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how we all are. But it's incredible. And again, if you look at modern day videos of like London, for example, a lot of the comparable populated density big cities in Europe, there are roving groups of people that will try to pickpocket you, that they will try to harass you, that they will pressure. And I have not yet seen any videos of Europeans saying, wow, there was a whole bunch of Texans with cowboy hats and American flags that jumped us or tried to take our purse. It's like, no, everybody's saying, wow, this is not at all what I expected. And I think that's incredible.
Yeah. And again, that doesn't discount all the areas that are having so many problems and have so many things that need to be fixed. But it exists. We have a lot of problems in this country.
Yeah.
But we have the luxury of saying, how do we fix it?
Yes.
Let's argue over how to fix it, as opposed to, let's figure out how to survive because the government may or may not let me.
Yeah.
Because I won't be protected from this group or that group. Yeah. So every once in a while you just gotta look at the broader picture. Don't get me wrong, we still got a lot of stuff to fight over. It's an election year. We'll get back to that. We can all hate each other again later. I wish we wouldn't, but we will. But at this point right now, look at this World Cup for this game that most Americans ignore in the first place and say, well, look at what window it's opening to the rest of the world for how they see us.
I just want to point out, too, one of the funniest things that keeps recurring is how many Europeans specifically are surprised by how little celebration. They're like, I'm renting an Airbnb, and none of the neighbors are going, why? I watched the game. Nobody really cares, but they're just happy to see us. Yeah. So it's interesting. Now, once again, because it's getting to that time, the show might be over here in about 25, 30 minutes. Yeah, we got a little bit of time left, but don't worry. If you missed anything, you can look up the Mike Ferguson in the Morning podcast, which I'll have up shortly after the show's over. You can also watch the replay of the stream later. We do live stream to Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, and X in case you're curious about what Mike's wearing, or if you want to see Susie's amazing dancing skills during Flashback Friday. She likes to boogie. So there's no excuses. Just look up Mike Ferguson in the Morning, and you'll know where to find us.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We still are in a first alert weather day lasting through the evening hours as we're seeing the potential for some flooding and the potential for some strong to severe storms lasting from noon through 8 p.m. Strong damaging winds going to be the primary threat and a lesser threat for a tornado or two. Temperatures today back towards the 80-degree mark this afternoon. Then into Saturday, a few isolated chances of some showers and storms. By Sunday, lasting through Thursday, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're seeing the heat index topping out anywhere from 105 to 110 degrees. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
Fox News commentary with Brian Kilmeade next.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's Brian Kilmeade.
Anthony Fauci had his friends write a paper saying that the coronavirus was from an animal, from a bat virus. He hands it to the CIA, the intelligence community, and says, look, these scientists who he hired came up with this paper, so you got to believe me. And they go, wow, Dr. Fauci, can you be one of us? Can you help the intelligence? Of course you can. So instead of saying, where's he getting this? Is he responsible for this? He ends up being the experts the intelligence community leans on for the next 4 years because Trump is not there and Biden is, and Biden loves him mainly because he hates Trump and Trump hates Fauci. And here's what told me about Anthony Fauci. When Trump lost and Biden becomes president, he's in charge. The first show he does, Rachel Maddow. And he said, Rachel, you've always been this has been my favorite show, and they wouldn't let me do it.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Hi, Sandy. What's that? I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot. What's 4? Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot. Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas? Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it. That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot? The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support. Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians. Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4. Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance. NewsTalkSTL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band. Live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the NewsTalkSTL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
Here's my problem.
Completely agree with your sentiments.
He talks about we're divided. Well, yeah, we are. And we need to wake up as a country and realize what's going on.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's The Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, you know, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Little Rick Derringer.
Oh, you can't have a patriotic-themed 80s Flashback Friday without.
You know what? I changed my mind. Instead of Neil Diamond's "They're Coming to America" being the new national anthem, I think that Hulk Hogan's theme should be the new national anthem.
Oh, absolutely! I will sign that petition.
8:37 right now. All right, thank you for that. Thank you for that Flashback Friday request. That was chef's kiss. Nice, very well. Mwah. Way to go. Okay, so tonight we are partying tonight, and listen, we are looking at the weather forecast, and honestly, we've got a really good chance of things being just fine. You know, we're gonna have some rain move through today, but we got a good chance of this, and we're going to be under this big pavilion anyway, so we're going to be fine if you come on out to Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. As a matter of fact, Michelle Hanson from Frankie Martin's Garden joins us right now, and a lot of people, I think, are looking at the forecast, Michelle, and like, ooh, I don't know, it's going to be all sloshy and soggy, but there's it's artificial turf in a lot of cases, so we're going to be able to party, rain or shine, but I think we got a good chance of being okay on the weather tonight, Michelle.
I think we do too. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah, so this is so much fun because it's obviously outdoors in the food trucks and the cash bar, and then obviously the stages. We're going to be in Pavilion number 6, which is right up by the stage. Just look for all the News Talk STL stuff. But what I love about what you guys have out here is it can be everything for everybody, and we're just going to be part of a bigger hangout and mingling and party tonight.
Exactly. So that is what's awesome about Frankie Martin's Garden is we really do have something for everybody. And tonight with the Retro Nerds, I think we're going to really be living it up tonight.
Have you seen them? Have you seen them before?
I have.
Okay, so much fun. I keep telling because they played our first birthday party. We've done 2. The first year we were on the air, and now the 5 years as well. And we did that before at the Old Diamond Music Hall. But on this stage, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be people there who aren't necessarily there just for us, but they're going to have a lot of fun. So it's just kind of our public service with the Retro Nerds out there. But it's going to be a lot of fun. You can sing along, you can dance, you can just hang out. And then let's talk about these food trucks. Oh, there's a lot of choices that people are going to have out there.
Yes. So we usually have on a Friday night from 7 to 10 food trucks, a lot of different options. We always have a burger option, taco options. Usually we have a gyro option, so many really good food trucks, and a lot of them are highly trained, obviously, kitchen professionals. They offer a wide variety of unique menu items, and it's really fun to go and try out each different one while you're there, and you're not just stuck like pigeonholed into one type of cuisine. You can go try something from every truck, and there's something for everybody in your party there.
You had me on tacos, Michelle.
Those taco trucks, we usually have more than one because they're pretty popular.
Yep. So we're coming. Oh yeah, you should. Okay. So people are going to come in tonight. I mean, it's going to be, we don't have like a specific program. I mean, most of the News Talk STL personalities, we're going to be there. We'll say hi from the stage, but honestly, we're just going to try to stay out of the way for the Retro Nerds to play their play their show, which is fantastic, and then we're going to hang out and mingle with everybody. But when people come in, give us a little primer. Where do we go? Where do we park? All of that sort of thing.
So there's public parking all throughout Cottleville. Down behind our stage, we have a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Down past our sand volleyball court, there's a parking lot. There's a golf cart parking lot. And then across the street, we have a crosswalk going over to this big public lot right in front of City Hall.
Okay, easy enough. Yeah, so that's not going to be an issue whatsoever out there. But of course, I've driven by so many times. One of my friends owns the business kind of across the way from you there, Piazza Messina. So I'm down there quite a bit doing stuff, and I've driven by, and there are times the big screen up there. You've got the ball game on. You've got got all kinds of stuff on there, and even when it gets chilly, you've got the little pods where people can have the fire and stay warm and hang out most of the year, which is so much fun.
Exactly. And on the big screen tonight, we will have World Cup games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which game is tonight, but that is what will be on the big screen will be soccer, since, that's sweeping the nation right now, the world right now. So that's what will be on the big screen. So something for everyone. Like I said, we have pickleball courts, we have sand volleyball, we have some leagues going on tonight. We have cornhole out on the lawn. So, a little something for everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're visiting with Michelle Hanson from Frankie Martin's Garden. And by the way, if you go to NewsTalkSTL.com, you can see a link right to Frankie Martin's Garden and all of the details about tonight's party. So when people come on out, obviously, bring a little bit for the food trucks. And there's a cash bar there, I think, right?
We have the whiskey house that also has a slushy window. Then we have the beer barn, and then we have a shed for dirty soda and non-alcoholic drinks for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another shed bar that has bottled beer, mixed drinks, all the things.
Yeah. So if you leave hungry or thirsty, this is your own darn fault.
Exactly. 100%.
All right. And Michelle, what's been like some of the, I guess, the surprises when people come out and they check it out? Because it is a unique layout. It's really, really unique, which is really cool. What's the thing that tends to surprise people the most when they come check you out for the first time?
I think the turf. I think people are always pleasantly surprised by the turf, because when you have a grass lawn or a lawn area, you have bugs and mud. And so like a day like today, when it rains, that deters some people because you think about how wet it is outside, but we have turf. So everything dries pretty quickly. There's a really good drainage system in our turf. So everything dries very quickly, and we can quickly recover from the rain. So I think having the turf is something that surprises them. And I think that just the sheer size of, we're 3.2 acres, and we can fit a lot of people.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is actually an audience question, but when it comes to handicapped and disabled people, is there a specific area that you would recommend them parking on, and how accessible is the facility for them?
Sure, yeah. We are handicap accessible. We actually have a couple of regulars that come pretty much every weekend that use wheelchairs. There's handicap parking right in front of the whiskey house. And then if you come in over to the left side of the beer barn, there's a sidewalk that goes right down and a ramp that goes into the turf in the pavilion areas. So very, very wheelchair accessible.
So basically there's no excuse. There's no excuse to not be there tonight is what you're saying, Michelle.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, agree on that. All right, let's go give out the website information. You all are on social media. Of course, you can find it at NewsTalkSTL.com, but people want to go directly to check out Frankie Martin's Garden because they may have an event they may want to do for their group or their birthday party or whatever the case is. What's the way to learn more about what y'all do?
So visiting our Facebook page, which is Frankie Martin's Garden, or you can go to our website, which is frankiemartinsgarden.com. And then we also have a TikTok. That's Frankie Martin's. And an Instagram, Frankie Martins.
All right, Michelle, are you going to be out there tonight? If so, I'll see you this evening.
Of course, I will be out there listening to the Retro Nerds.
And you'll be the one. You'll be the one leading all the dancing, right?
Exactly. I'll be the first one out there dancing.
Sounds good. We'll see you tonight, Michelle. Thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, we got a lot going on here. Some miscommunication in the city. Do the bars close early or not?
Oh.
There was the statement, yes, they are, and now the answer is, well, maybe not. And a SLU Billiken gets a shot at the NBA. We'll tell you what's going on with that right around 8:47 here on News Talk STL.
Fight for what's right. Fight for your
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I have to tell my kids that I'm a rock star now.
On News Talk STL.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
This year, America turns 250, and News Talk STL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. News Talk STL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. DiGregorio's Italian Market, AAA Motor Speedway, and American Family Insurance. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Well, I mean, you got to have this song.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Did Camellia request this?
This one was requested by quite a few people.
Oh, okay.
I can't narrow it down to just one, but this had to be the send it away.
There it is. It is. Thank you for all these requests. This has been a lot of fun. To this now, here's the thing is so next Friday the 3rd, like most businesses, this is our that's our 4th of July holiday. So we're actually not going to be live next Friday. So we had to do this today.
And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling a lot more patriotic today.
You know, it's funny you should say that because patriotism has become political in way too many cases. Oh, the other party wins the elections. Well, I don't like it now. Well, my party did. How dare you not love this country? We can't be like that.
No.
There are things to like and not like about both parties. There are things to like and not like about most politicians. There's a few politicians I can't find anything to like. But even people on our side, there are things that we can critique and we don't like, and there are things to like. But that should be separate from, do we care enough about the country to try to make it better? I mean, there's just we've got to be able to compartmentalize better.
Yeah, and even playing all these songs, they were all pro-America. They were all about, loving your country. I could not tell you, I mean, besides for Bruce Springsteen, of course, but...
Well, and Lee Greenwood, we know where they come from politically.
But for the most part, I could never tell you which political party, what ideology, whatever. I just know that they made great songs that celebrate the country.
Yep, absolutely. All right, 8:50. Let's go ahead and wrap up the week with one more news dump. Do they or don't they have to close early? There's been some confusion about what's going to happen in the Grove this weekend. We know some things that are going to happen in the Grove this weekend. It's going to be wild, that's for sure. Probably not family-friendly, but it's going to happen. Also, the Billiken gets an NBA contract. You know who I'm talking about, but I got the details coming your way. Like I said, let's do one more news dump here.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Great American Divers.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Okay, some bars in the Grove say the mayor's declaration of midnight closures this weekend is not binding. Mayor Kara Spencer, you may recall, announced that bars would close early this weekend as a safety precaution during the annual Pride celebrations. Multiple people were shot after a fight broke out during last year's Pride events. Here's the thing now. Both the mayor's office and several businesses admit that that was a miscommunication and that not all of the businesses in the district ever agreed to shut down early. So as it stands right now, the bars are being asked to close early, but there is no mandate to do so. Now, several of the bars, or some of the bars, I should say, have told media reports that they're hiring a lot of extra security. But the bottom line is this is the largest shindig in the Grove. I have never been to it. I do know that it's their biggest thing. I don't think anybody's closing at midnight at the Grove. I just don't think so. So the mayor did the press conference saying, we're going to have extra security. Good. That makes sense. There's going to be tens of thousands of people there. And then we've come to an agreement for these voluntary closures. And a couple of businesses apparently said, okay, we can do that. And the rest of them were like, hey, don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah, with a hootenanny like this, it's probably a very good time for business, regardless of what the reason is. So I can't imagine that everybody would want to be missing out on that income if they can avoid shutting down.
And then you just hope that something stupid something violently stupid. There will be stupid things that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
But hopefully we get out with nobody getting hurt there. All right, let's see here. State officials announcing the closure of the immigration detention facility called Alligator Alcatraz in the Florida Everglades. So there was a news conference about this, and Border SAR Tom Homan was there praising Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for his collaboration with federal immigration law enforcement.
This isn't end of relationship. This is a continuation. We'll continue to go out, we'll continue to enforce immigration laws. We'll continue to prioritize public safety threats first. We'll make it clear. If you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table.
Okay, so the decision to shut down the facility basically stemming from the cost, and that's estimated to be about $1.2 billion in total. And, of course, with all the deportations that have already happened, there's still plenty of detainees and illegals who have to be processed and deported, but they don't have as many as they used to.
Yeah, this is supposed to be temporary, facilities. They're not supposed to be permanent mainstays.
All right, here's an odd one. St. Louis Fire Department, a St. Louis Fire Department EMT gets a ticket for driving without a valid license. Okay, all right, whatever happens. But here's the thing. She was driving an ambulance at the time, and she was involved in the crash in said ambulance at the time. And when they're doing the reports, that's when they're like, hey, your license isn't valid. What are you doing driving an ambulance? Channel 4 has this story on their website. The EMT's name is Katrina Hopper, and both she and the department say that her license is valid. And they're saying, no, you're getting this wrong, even though there have been 2 holds put on her license by courts because of unresolved traffic cases. But here's the other thing. KMOV found over a dozen traffic cases against her since 2019. And at one point there was a warrant for her for not appearing on traffic stuff. And so over a dozen traffic cases, including like speeding, driving on the wrong side of the road, not showing up for expired tags, all this sort of thing. And so the department says, no, we believe her license is valid. She says her license is valid. But that still begs the question, if you got somebody who has a history of not being a real good driver, why are they driving around $150,000 or $200,000, maybe $250,000 ambulance?
Okay, playing devil's advocate. It didn't sound like any of those tickets were for crashing. So
not that I could tell,
driving really fast, speeding, and going in the wrong lanes are sometimes things that ambulances have to do to get to the emergency. So if you already know somebody has a history of doing that, but they did not crash, would you not want them to be the one?
Their experience.
They have the experience, and then they don't have to take care of the plates for the ambulance. So,
and by the way, the crash that the ambulance was involved in, it didn't say who was determined to be at fault. However, she was responding to a call, lights and siren were on. Therefore, it was the other car's fault, most likely.
Yeah, ambulances are not quiet.
Drivers.
They're not usually quiet. It's not like it's going to sneak up on you.
No, I wouldn't think so. So that part is probably just how they found out what was going on there. But that's going to be an interesting one. All right, don't forget, you're invited to our party tonight. We're going to be at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. This is free. Come on out. I mean, if you want to buy food to the food trucks and whatever, you can do that. We're going to be there from 7 until at least 10 p.m. Retro Nerds are bringing their 80s tribute show to the stage. Look for us at Pavilion 6, which is right next to the big stage. We've got the pavilion, so we're underneath a roof, and we're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have a lot of station swag. I think most of us on the station, the personalities, are going to be there. I think so. But yeah, come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a blast.
I mean, it's a Retro Nerds. If you look at Flashback Fridays, you're going to love them.
And there's going to be a lot of people there because we're not the only thing happening out there. There's going to be a lot of people who are now being introduced to News Talk STL. So come on and talk us up. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. Okay, Robbie Avila. You remember him? SLU Billiken basketball player, the guy with the glasses that was a big star. He was not picked in the NBA draft, but he has signed a contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, Robbie Avila was the Atlantic 10's Player of the Year this past season. He led SLU to an NCAA tournament spot, and they were ranked in the top 25 for several weeks in the national polls. He has signed what's called an Exhibit 10 contract. So basically, this is an entry-level tryout opportunity at the league minimum for development league play and preseason workouts. So they don't know if he can be an NBA player, but they're going to give him an opportunity. He's at least earned that. So congratulations to Robbie Avila. Cardinals and Diamondbacks were rained out on Thursday. That game is going to be made up later in the season. Homestand continues tonight when the Cardinals host the Marlins. First pitch is at 7:15. Game's going to be on Channel 4, but you should follow it along on your app or on your phone because you're going to be partying with us in Cottleville at Frankie Martin's Garden. I will see you there.
With all of the celebrations, anniversaries, and